Adam Williams. I'm here, Sports and Stuff podcast. It's the first episode. I'm here with my main man, Riley Cregan. Riley, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm Riley Cregan. As Adam just said, I'm a student at UNC with Adam, and we've been friends for a while, and we've always kind of talked about sports a lot and had discussions about it and debates about it, and we decided that maybe we make a podcast and see if other people like our discussions as much as we like our discussions.
Yeah, we're going to start it off as a hobby, I think. And, if it goes anywhere, it goes somewhere, but I think we're just doing this for fun, going to try to publish it, and we'll just see where it goes.
Yeah.
So, Riley, you want to dive right in?
Yeah, for sure. We got a lot of different things going on in sports right now. We got pretty much just the NBA and NFL going on in terms of major sports. I don't know, Adam, if there's any other sports on your radar, but that's pretty much what I'm looking at.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, I really don't give a damn about baseball. Hockey's cool. I want to know more about it.
That's true. Hockey's going.
Yeah, until football becomes unbelievably pussified, I'll keep watching football, but I tell you what, we're 5 to 10 away from me just switching completely to hockey, I think.
What?
If it keeps going the way it is.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be flag football in a few years, but for right now, we're, in week 13 or 14?
Yeah, week 14 just happened.
And it's been a pretty exciting season because there's no defense because no one can tackle anybody.
Yeah, I know. You can't hit. How can you stop anyone? Unless you're
Although
Seattle.
The Bears kind of showed that defense might still matter in the NFL this past week.
So did Seattle. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they fucking railed the Vikings.
Kirk Cousins looked like some ass.
All right, let's get into the first segment. So this is a segment that Riley came up with.
Yeah.
I really like it. So basically, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna throw out a few buzzwords that are going on in sports right now, and we're gonna use a vulgar word and or phrase to describe how we feel about this subject.
Yeah.
So Riley, why don't you start us off? Keyword is Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. So Kareem Hunt. When I was thinking about how to really sum up Kareem Hunt situation, I just kind of came up with you fucked up, because he really did just fuck up, because he was young. Was he 23? Leading rusher in the NFL, and then he had to go kick a woman in the ribs on the ground, and now his career might be over. So I would say you fucked up is a pretty good way to sum that. I don't know what you decide.
Yeah. I think my phrase is it's about fucking time. Not for someone to beat a woman, obviously, but for the NFL to finally do something about it. I personally think it's a shame that they're making an example of Kareem Hunt. Because there's been so many cases. You look at Ray Rice and you look at Joe Mixon, you see those videos and you compare them to Kareem Hunt, and it's not something that you want to compare, because obviously putting your hands on a woman or really putting your hands on anyone in general is not something that anyone should be doing, let alone someone with the platform that Kareem Hunt has.
Yeah.
But
the magnitude of Joe Mixon's video,
exactly.
The magnitude of Kareem, and Joe Mixon's just ran the ball for this past week with the Bengals.
Yeah.
Scored a couple touchdowns, and now and Kareem Hunt's might not ever play in the NFL.
Yeah, and I think an important distinction there is Joe Mixon. He was a draft pick.
Yep.
He hadn't even been drafted yet.
Yeah.
And of course, Cincinnati of all people goes and gets him.
Yeah.
And to Kansas City's credit, I think if they would have cut him based solely off the action, I think that would have been a dumb move. Just because details hadn't come out.
Yeah.
Since they've cut him, there's been alleged reports of her using racial slurs against him.
Yeah.
There's reports of her harassing him before that entire event occurred. But the thing is, Kareem Hunt, he lied about it.
Yeah.
And I think Kansas City set a good precedent for their organization on how they're going to handle things. And, we'll see how the NFL handles it going forward. But,
you think he's going to play again?
I think he'll play again. probably not this season. Even if he gets on a team, he definitely won't play this season. We'll see how it goes. But, I mean, I think he's genuinely sorry. He was, he was obviously intoxicated. Not that that excuses anything, but, it's just when you compare it to the magnitude of Ray Rice and Joe Mixon, it is, it's just not quite as bad. As hard as it is to say that, it's just not quite to that level. Like, I've watched the video multiple times, and he never, took a full-fledged swing at anyone.
And no one talks about his teammate, Tyreek Hill.
That's fair.
Who beat his girlfriend while she was pregnant.
Yeah. And
I'm not sure if the baby survived or not from that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, that's pretty bad.
that's arguably worse.
But like you said, it's because he did it before he was drafted. And so it's like when people draft, they're like, oh, well, we're taking a risk on him. We think he's going to be a better player.
Yeah.
But since he's in the league and he does it while he's in the league, then it's like, oh, well, we don't think he'll ever be good again. Or, it's like you get, just because he's in the league, it discredits him way more than if he had just done it 2 years later. I mean, he's been in the league 2 years.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay. Go ahead. Hit me with the next one.
All right, so Mike McCarthy, what's your curse word, phrase, expression with Mike and his obviously recent firing? For anyone who doesn't know, Mike McCarthy was fired about 2 weeks ago.
I'm going to say, I don't know if I can repeat it, but I'm going to go with it's about fucking time. Because, I mean, look, there's a lot of things in the Packers organization that are wrong. Mike McCarthy was obviously one of those things.
Yeah.
And, I just can't see, I hate seeing Aaron Rodgers waste away in Green Bay.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I mean, he is beyond a generational talent. I genuinely believe he's the most talented quarterback to ever play the game. But, his organization is trading away Jordy Nelson. They're letting Clay Matthews get old they never moved him. I mean, he's had shitty defense after shitty defense. Sure, he's had weapons, but he's never had the complete package. No. And when you combine that with Mike McCarthy and his staff just being god-awful, I mean, just give Aaron some help or get him the hell out of Green Bay. Yeah. Send him to Jacksonville.
Right.
Good God, give my man a team, and I swear, he should have 3 or 4 rings by now.
Yeah. There's the wasting of someone's prime in the NFL. I see it in there's a couple scenarios that really pissed me off. One was Andrew Luck. Mm-hmm. The other being Aaron Rodgers. Andrew Luck, now he's back and he looks kind of back to Andrew Luck, but at the same time he lost 2 years of football and probably won't be able to play as long just because they literally had nobody blocking for him. He just got sacked a ridiculous amount of times. Aaron Rodgers is the same thing, except just with they don't let him. No defense, like you said, and the team around him, but also the offensive structure that they had. He couldn't be Aaron Rodgers. He couldn't go create plays and stuff like that because they just had a very, very simple offense. It was maybe we hand it off on first down, get 1 yard, and then just, just very simple routes. There's not any ever trick plays like Sean McVay or Andy Reid offense or anything like that. It's just very standard procedure offense where if Aaron Rodgers was in something like Sean McVay or Kansas City offense, and you got to do all the things that they do with those quarterbacks. I mean, he's better than Jared Goff, right? He can do more things than Jared Goff. Yeah. So if you put him in that system, running around, getting a space like Jared Goff has, God, he'd be really good.
Okay, well, tell me your phrase for.
Mine was kind of the opposite perspective from Aaron's perspective, and it was just hype as fuck.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And it was finally, Aaron's had. I know he's had a bad, not as good of his year as he normally has, Aaron Rodgers has, but I would say he's had, as a person or as a football player and thinking of the future, he's had a really good past year because he just got a shit ton of money. And then he finally got rid of this coach that, he's never liked. Yeah. He won a Super Bowl, and that's the only reason he's been here for this long is because Aaron Rodgers took them on. And their defense was really good at that time and took them to the Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl against my Steelers. But anyways, it's because of that McCarthy was even still here, and then he finally got rid of him, and he's got paid. I bet he's excited about next year.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
And then, what was it, this week they put up like 38 points or something?
Yes. I'll talk about that later. I have something to say about that.
Okay. You want to kick off the next one?
All right, man. Hit me with how you feel about Dwayne Wade and his last game in LA right there.
I was kind of mixed between like describing Dwayne Wade himself and then also describing my feelings about the game. My feelings about the game were sad as fuck because I was really sad that Dwayne Wade was gone, but at the same time I just also reflected upon his whole career and I was just like badass.
Yeah.
And then I also wrote down old as fuck. He is
yeah, I think when I think of it, I think it's, I say that's the shit because like, as an NBA fan, like, for the longest time I like ate, slept, and breathed the NBA basketball.
Yeah.
And I love Dwayne Wade, and I really love LeBron, as you know.
Yeah.
And like seeing them and like their friendship and all that. That's like, I mean, there was just a quote that came out, an hour ago, and it was talking about Dwayne Wade said that he thinks that he and LeBron and Chris Bosh and their friendship changed the NBA. And I think it's more than like the super team argument. It's talking about how like positivity has like spread throughout the NBA and like there's like a camaraderie there that wasn't there beforehand. And obviously you have guys who like Giannis who think that that's bullshit and he hates it. He's got the Mamba mentality or whatever. He doesn't want to be friends with anybody. But I kind of agree with that. I mean, you look at what the league was before, and people call it soft or whatever, but, I mean, these are guys who a lot of them came from, backgrounds that aren't the best, and they've worked their way to get where they are, and they're, a group of, 300 guys.
So why should you hate each other,
exactly.
for working hard at being successful?
Right, exactly. You should be lifting each other up. And Dwayne Wade went on to say that, like, it's not that they're buddy and they're not going after each other because they absolutely are. I mean, you can watch the playoffs. I mean, they're going at each other's necks. But at the same time in the off season and when they're not on the court, they're off the court. They're, you can lift each other up and you can like make each other strive to be their best.
Yeah, they're training together. They hang out together and then it's go time during the game, but then as soon as the game over, they're dapping each other up. Right. They're trading jerseys. You see jersey trades way more than you've ever seen. Because that was very much a soccer thing.
Yeah.
Until I'd say really the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Now it's something they do all the time. Even in football, they're doing that a little bit now, peeling it all the way off their pads. But
yeah,
I mean, I'd agree with that point. It's just whether it was their relationship that changed it or not, it's definitely.
Yeah.
More friendly.
Okay, I know you really wanted to talk about this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me how you feel about Chris Boswell right now.
Well, how I feel about him, I could talk about for a while. But what my phrase was, I just said what I said for this is exactly what I said when I was actually watching the game. For anyone that doesn't know. Wasn't watching the Steelers-Raiders game because he probably wouldn't want to watch that game because it's the Raiders, and then we had the Steelers backup quarterback in, so he didn't want to watch Josh Dobbs play against them 3 wins now? Yeah, 3 and 10 Raiders. But essentially they scored a touchdown with 20 seconds left, and then we somehow got the ball down to the 40-yard line. I'm a Steelers fan, to preface that. And Chris Boswell lined up to kick a field goal. Not that long of a field goal, a 48-yarder or something like that.
I can't give him some credit. 48 yards isn't exactly a chip shot.
I'm not sure what it exactly was. It could have been. It was low. It was something in the 40s. I mean, it wasn't a chip shot, but it's not like he just missed it off to the left or off to the right or something like that. Mans went back and just fell. He just slipped. He ran up to kick the field goal and completely Charlie Browned it. 100% just whiffed, and he fell on his ass, and we lost the game. And this is exactly what I said. I was standing there, or I was watching it in the library actually with my girlfriend in NC State library, and I just go, "What the fuck?" people look at me and they're like look at me and my what the hell? Why'd you shh? Like be quiet. I was like, did you fucking see that? He just fucking Charlie Browned it. He's an NFL kicker and he just fucking fell over and lost the game.
He Charlie Browned it. Oh my god.
Yeah. And it's not just this game though. It'd be something else if he's like his first field goal he's missed the whole season. The dude has missed like 5 extra points. I mean, these are not. I don't have the stats in front of me. This is just guessing. But he's missed a shit ton of field goals against the Browns. We tied the Browns in the first game of the season. He missed like 3 field goals and an extra point or something like that. He was a really good kicker last year. But if you Charlie Brown it, I feel like that's in the NFL. That's got to be like grounds for getting cut.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with NFL means no fucking legs. That's what it means. There's no kickers in the NFL anymore.
Oh, they used to be so good.
I mean, Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker is the most consistent kicker in NFL history, and he missed a PAT to win the game.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't want to put this evil on you, man, but another phrase I had thought of was Baker fucking Mayfield. Because I'm telling you, the Cleveland curse is ending, and that Juju has to go somewhere. And you guys have a guy named Juju. It is time for Cleveland to rise.
Okay.
And it's going to their closest or their second closest neighbor in Pittsburgh.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
The AFC North has to have a bad team.
Okay, bad team versus Cleveland curse is very different. I mean, I'm a Steelers fan. I'm obviously super biased. Yes, we're going to be bad for a while. I admit that. Ben's going to retire. We're going to be bad. We're not going to have a quarterback unless we get lucky in the draft. But the Cleveland curse, does that mean we're going to go 60 years without a championship and go fucking 1-32 in the next year?
Maybe it'll bounce around more. Who knows? Dude, it's over in Cleveland. It's over.
It's over?
Dude, the Cleveland curse is no more.
Okay, we'll talk about Baker later.
It's got to go somewhere. Okay. All right.
I just, whenever we think about, I put this name in here, by the way, the next guy. Whenever I think about curse words or phrases and related to sports, I just feel like you have to have this individual in your list, and that is J.R. Smith. And I just wanted to...
I mean, J.R. Smith, he's a fucking man. Like, J.R. Smith knows what he's doing, man.
Okay.
He has marketed himself to be, like...
A dumbass?
No, it's okay. You know how I feel.
Okay, you go back to the play.
You know how I feel about the play. Okay, and for those of you who don't know, we're talking about the play where J.R. Smith didn't shoot the fucking ball and stole
and ruined LeBron's best playoff, arguably his best performance ever.
Look, okay.
Here's
what
You're
I'm
a LeBron fan. How can you support this man?
Look, if LeBron can forgive him, fuck it. I can't forgive him for that. But here's what I'm telling you.
You really think LeBron forgive him?
He's publicly forgiven him.
Okay.
He probably doesn't have the guy's number saved anymore. If you want to be honest, he's never going to play with J.R. Smith again. No. All right. But my man has done he's a marketing genius. He reminds me a lot of Marshawn Lynch in the sense where he has a target market and he hits it square on.
Yeah, I mean, he's hilarious.
Exactly. He's hilarious. And if he didn't, he has no business being on a contender because he will fuck it up. Big time. He could easily drop like 25 points for you, hit like 6 threes, but just know that the next game don't even play him because he's going over
1 for 25.
And he shoots himself out of a slump, and that slump will be over 3 weeks from now. Yeah. So, that's how I feel about J.R. Smith. Tell me.
Mine was just obvious. It was just dumbass. And I was, I mean. Yeah, you're right. He marketed himself well. His shirtless thing, he's really done well. And he makes
50,000 tattoo, man.
Yeah,
isn't that it?
Yeah, like it's great with that. Somehow he has an NBA ring. I mean, well, we know why, LeBron, but as a basketball player, basketball IQ is got to be close to JaVale McGee's. And JaVale McGee's is actually when you do a scale of like 0 to 150 in basketball IQ, JaVale McGee's actually the 0. He starts the scale. He starts the scale.
They just have a sliding scale from JaVale McGee to LeBron James.
Yeah, exactly. They're actually both on the same team.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it averages out, right? Yeah.
But, yeah, as a basketball player, basketball IQ is pretty much a 0. His inconsistency is probably a 0. His defense is probably a 0.
But his swag. Where's his swag?
But goddamn it, if he can't take off his shirt and wave and get a hell of people hype about that.
Look,
get some money.
Just as there's a sliding scale from JaVale to LeBron on the IQ scale, there's got to be like a sliding scale from Carmelo Anthony to Kelly Oubre Jr. On swag. And J.R. Smith is way closer to Kelly Oubre than he is to Carmelo Anthony.
Kelly Oubre. Yeah. Carmelo, man.
He wants to go into fashion. Did you hear that?
Melo?
Yeah.
No.
He said he wants to be like a fashion icon.
Yeah, would probably be a lot better than that than basketball.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you can't be a fashion icon and look like an off-duty cop all at the same time. He is. I mean, he's fat now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fat.
Yeah, I mean,
he's certified fat. He's getting to Charles Barkley's level.
Like, no doubt about it. We're saying here right now that Carmelo Anthony is fat. It's time to face.
Yeah, face the facts.
Yeah, face the facts.
Face the facts.
He's fat. He's bad at basketball, and he's bad at fashion.
Damn. I'm sorry, Carmelo. If you ever hear this episode, just know that it was all Riley.
But Adam started it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I did. Whatever. You Charles Barkley looking fuck. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Here, I'll start this one off because I know you have quite the rant to go on.
Yeah.
NFL overtime. I'm gonna go with shit show.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Granted, it gave my Patriots a Super Bowl championship.
y'all would have won no matter the format.
Yeah, probably because the Falcons would have just run it 4 times from their own 30, and we would have got it and kicked a field goal or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna go shit show. I have some thoughts written down about it, but I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Yeah. Related, same curse word, but bullshit. Shit, the common factor there. Bullshit. Reason I say this is not just because. Okay, I also have to preface this is I'm also an Eagles fan. You're probably like, wait, what?
Bandwagon.
So, I'm originally from Pennsylvania. My mom is from Pittsburgh. My dad is from Philly. I lived in both areas. A hybrid fan of sorts. Some people don't agree with it. Some people think it's okay. I think it's okay. Either way.
You cheer for Carolina and Duke too, right?
No. But they're not rivals. They're in different conferences. One is NFC. They play each other one every 4 years. You can't be a rival if you see your.
That's a fair point. That's okay. Anyways,
so,
overtime.
Overtime. So the Eagles lost in overtime, bouncing off of fucking dumbass corner hands into Amari Cooper, and won the game. If you saw it, it was terrible. But my point about overtime is even if the Eagles stopped them, we would have had maybe 2 minutes left in the game, right? If we stopped them and they kick a field goal, we would have had maybe 2 minutes left in the game to score a touchdown. Maybe we get in field goal range, and then it's a tie game. And how many ties? We've had 2 ties in the NFL. That's too many ties. Like, you can't have ties in football. It's football. They should have a winner. And NFL overtime is bullshit because it's completely contingent upon the coin toss. Whoever wins the coin toss is going to, or at least has a much higher chance to win the game. Because all you have to do is, even if you don't get a touchdown, you can waste down the time. Because they used to be 15 minutes, and for some fucking reason they made it 10 minutes this year thinking it would be better.
Dude, that's a safety thing.
But that makes it ties way more likely. And it also gives the people that win the coin toss, now they can just play like, hey, let's run the time down and give them the ball back. Even if we kick a field goal, give them the ball back for 2 minutes. Best case scenario, or worst case scenario for us, probably a tie game. Otherwise, we're going to win and then it creates circumstances where teams are like, don't want to kick a field goal because they don't want to tie in overtime. Or they don't want to punt it at midfield if no one's scored yet, because they're gonna go for it on like 4th and 2 when you really shouldn't. but because there's no chance for them to really get the ball back, then they don't want to fucking tie the game. They're going to go for it, and then it gives the other team a chance to win the game, obviously. And there's just so many, like, why can't we just do it like college?
That's how you want it done.
Yes. Everyone's like, well, what's the alternative? They're just going to copy college? Yeah. Why not? Because if you think about, when I think about NFL's decisions with their rules and all the different rules that they change, there's really one main, you can say there's different motivations, and Roger Goodell will tell you there's all different motivations, but it's just what makes them the most money. Ratings, and what makes them the most money is player safety, sure. But the only reason they do player safety is because it makes the public happier. They're like, oh, they're protecting the player. Maybe I'll watch the NFL. Even though some people don't view it that way, and they're like, hey, the NFL is soft. I'm not fucking watching. But
yeah.
Point is that ratings is their main motivation. So, if we take NFL overtime and change it to college overtime, would ratings go down for NFL overtime?
I mean, no. Yeah, I mean, they'd go up.
Yeah.
They'd go up. Everybody agrees
what pisses people off? Ties.
In America, yeah, ties.
Yes, in America, sorry. And then what pisses... When you have overtime and one team doesn't even get to touch the ball, has zero chance to even try to win the game just because they lost a coin toss.
I mean, you could stop them. There's that option.
I mean, yeah, you could stop them, but... I mean, we already discussed what the NFL is doing with defense, so, you know...
Yeah.
I mean, but the point is, like, each team should have a chance. There's way less fair than college. You have to, like, each team gets a chance in the 20. So you have your defense that has to show up and stop them, and you have your offense that has to score it and involves your whole team. The ratings will go up, zero ties.
I agree that the ratings would go up. I agree that, I mean, obviously you can't refute there would be zero ties. Something that I looked up, because I was like, you know, what if it was, you know, college rules?
Right.
There are safety implications that go into overtime. And they just took them 15-10 to make people not have to play an entire another quarter.
Right.
What do you do in a situation like Texas A&M had towards the end of the season when you go into 7 overtimes? These guys are playing. I mean, they already have a season that's 4 games longer than college, and then you add basically another half to one of those games, and not to mention that you're in the red zone where collisions are, you know, inevitable. Like, I mean, you're taking shots to the end zone. That's just defenseless receiver after defenseless receiver. I think there's obvious safety implications to going to the college football rules. Is it? I mean, I agree with you. I don't think Roger Goodell.
Well then give it up to the players.
You think the NFLPA should decide it?
Yeah, or the NFLPA or a player vote. I guarantee you, no player, other player in the NFL are not going to be like, no, we don't want to get rid of ties in the NFL.
I don't know.
Just because we don't want to play a little more football.
I mean, I'm sure, but like at a certain point, I feel like the players have.
But how often is a 7 overtime game?
I mean, that's fair. How often is a overtime game in the NFL? What, we've had 4 this season?
I don't know. I think there's been more than that.
And there's only been 2 ties, right?
2 ties.
2 ties.
If we've had 4, that means 50% of the time we're tying.
Okay, maybe there were more than 4. You're right. There were more than 4. 2 ties in a season is like unheard of. Like, and they were in the first 2 weeks.
And you want to know why? Because it went from 15 to 10.
Yeah, probably.
Exactly. I mean, this is really skewed data. It's 1 year.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying, college overtime, the odds that they go 7 overtimes is really low because you have to, after the 3rd overtime, you have to go for 2. And like the odds that you both convert on 2 or you both don't convert on 2 are very slim. And most of the time in college overtime, it's over in like 1. Like, I mean, we know where UNC State overtime fucking lost. Fucking first possession, right? So like,
fuck State. Okay, here's something that just dawned on me because I had written down. This is what I had written down. I had fantasy implications. Okay.
Yeah.
But beyond that, this would affect league revenue, as you know, bills are passing to make gambling legal across the country. Sports gambling.
Lines on a game.
Yeah, I mean, like, it makes close lines scarier to bet on. And the NFL has the closest lines.
That's a good point because it really makes the under/over on like the total points scored.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like, imagine. I mean,
because any overtime game in college is gonna have fucking 74 to 72. Right?
Exactly. I mean,
but that's one. I mean,
but
that was the first 7 overtime games.
But exactly,
it's like 19 something.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't have to be that skewed. I mean, like, you look at the Chiefs Rams. What was the final score of that? 49-45?
Yeah,
something like that. And it had the highest over under ever in NFL history at like.
And it shattered it.
Yeah, shattered it. But imagine if they play again next year, which they won't. But scenario that they do.
Yeah.
That over under is going to be super high. What if they go to overtime? And if they only go into double overtime, that's potentially at the least 9 more points on the over under.
Well, I mean, you can look at it that way. You can look at it, hey, if I'm betting and I view, because if you're betting, you have to view yourself as knowing a little bit of like about these teams.
Yeah.
So if you think there's a chance they're going to go into overtime, then you have to alter your bet.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it'll make people not bet.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, because there is, there's gambling in college. People gamble in college games, and there's a risk for that. Yeah. I mean,
risk for that never. I would say the point of player safety is a good point. That you could potentially be playing more games or longer period of time, and it's in the red zone, so there's more collisions, but also there'll probably be less plays than in a 10-minute. I mean, if you have 1 overtime period or 2 overtime periods of college, there's probably less plays than a 10-minute.
That's fair. I mean, there would be, but there's more crucial plays at the same time.
There's more crucial plays, but I mean, there's a max of, unless barring a penalty, there's a max of 6. Well, technically 9 offensive plays.
Yeah.
And then unless you're going on a 4th down, but most of the time you kick the field goal. So usually there'd be 9 offensive play per overtime if you literally get first down on the 15, first down on the 5. Yeah. I mean, more than likely you're only going to get 1 first down. And it'll be first
doesn't college start on the 35 now?
20.
Is it 25?
25.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Here, I also looked, just for shits and giggles, I looked up some alternatives to the NFL overtime.
Yeah, because I don't see any alternative besides college.
Okay. There's one that says that they should go back to the old way and just make it first team to score.
No.
I hated that when it happened, so I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
I was happy with the rule change, and I was glad it improved, but I was like,
yeah, I mean,
it really fix it.
Yeah, it sucks when you go down and it's like, oh man, because like bend and don't break defenses, like teams.
It benefits the benefit. Yeah, don't break.
Yeah, I mean, you had teams like the Vikings last night in the red zone. They played relatively well. I mean, they let Seattle score 21 points. Yeah, that's not the best, but I mean, for the most part, Seattle did have a couple red zone trips that came up empty.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, if all you had to do is kick a field goal to win, that's pretty fucking lame.
Yeah, that's not an option.
Super lame.
All right, next.
Okay, next is a big player safety one. Is saying that there should be no overtime. If you're tied at the end of regulation,
oh my God.
I mean, I see. I don't hate this one as much as you probably do.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're going player safety, if you're going the player safety route, you play 4 quarters. You don't come out. I mean, do ties suck? To some people, yes. I guess I'm on the side that says, oh, that was a really fucking good game. It was super close. There was like, and you got to think, oh man, there was 4 Hail Marys in that game. That was super exciting.
Yeah.
And yeah, ties suck, but it doesn't suck worse than your favorite player tearing his ACL in overtime.
Yeah.
And the last one, this one really cracked me up. This is from Russell Wilson. This is what he was quoted as saying they should do. Is they should do it like soccer, and they should have penalty kicks, where you just start on like the 30 or 35, and you kick field goals, and you back up every time, and that's
shit.
That's how you win.
You just start from the 5 in today's NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. You start. First off, you just have to toss it over. And then Blake Bortles is still gonna hit the crossbar or something.
So I'd say the argument against my argument is player safety, and I don't really. I mean, I want players to be safe, but I think as those players probably wouldn't care. I think they would, if you had a player vote, they'd vote for college.
Well, yeah, but these are the same players that said,
put me in the game after they get a concussion.
Hit me in the head.
Yeah.
They're obviously not the best at
but it's
judging
football,
what's best.
though. Like, I mean, do you need somebody to judge? Like, you have to know you're taking a risk.
Absolutely. You know you're taking a risk.
And that's a whole nother
But why
argument.
not limit the risk? Like, making them play another quarter of football when they already play, minimum
60 minutes.
But over the course of the season, they play 15-minute quarters, 16 games.
Times 16. I'm not good at math.
Yeah,
Are you good at math? No. But there's also like an offense and a defense, so it's not like they're playing that long. You have time between plays.
Yeah, but players, 22 guys are on the field at all times for,
60 minutes.
60 minutes a game, 16 games a season.
Yeah, whatever that is.
636 minutes. Boom. Math. I go to Carolina, by the way.
I go too, but I don't do math.
I've took the community college route. It's smarter, better math. Okay.
More math focused there.
That was enough time spent on overtime, I think. So this is when I was writing the outline for this episode. I was just trying to think of some fun sort of anecdotal little categories. This one probably won't be very long. But this one, I call it Choose Your Fighter. And it's going to be about if we're going to take two sports icons, and if we were to put them in a ring together, who would come out victorious? And 3 out of 4 of these are pretty silly. Is the way. Sorry if it hashtag triggers anyone.
Hashtag.
So my first one. I would give him a round of applause, but he couldn't give one back. Shaquem Griffin and Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah.
They don't have 4 hands between them. Tell me who you think would win in a fist fight.
Oh, me? JPP.
Just because of sheer size?
Not just because of size, it's because if assuming he's wearing his club.
Oh, he doesn't even wear the club anymore.
He doesn't wear it anymore?
He wears like a 3-finger
I
glove.
just remember when he came back from...
That was sick, by the way.
From the year after he blew up his shit. He had a fucking club. And that's what I'm assuming. If he's getting in a ring, he's going to find his club. He has it somewhere.
Obviously.
And he's just going to take that
pack
out.
it with concrete.
And Shaquem's going to come at him with, his nub. But a club beats a nub, Club beats a nub. I mean, that's
club beats a nub every single time.
Every single time.
I don't know, man. Give Shaquem some credit, I think.
I mean, dude can bench with a nub. So
that's insane, by the way.
Yeah, that's insane.
Full respect to both of these athletes.
Well, not as much as JPP because he blew it up, shooting off fireworks. He blew up his hand.
That could be you.
Shaquem was born with it. Obviously, Shaquem overcame it.
JPP,
JPP was kind of a dumbass.
Yeah, he uses Maybelline. He wasn't born with it.
Yeah.
But
so he's overcome.
I mean, is it? Shaquem has never known anything different. JPP, he knew something. He had a hand. And he lost it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess it would be harder to lose a hand and still be an NFL player.
Better to have had a hand and lost it than to never had a hand at all.
Noted.
Yeah, Shakespeare wrote that.
Yeah, twice, 2 different plays.
Yeah. There was one. It was Hamlet, and then there was Handless.
Yeah, that one was never released to the public.
Yeah. Okay. Fight number 2. This is one that I'm very passionate about, and I know that Riley will agree with me on this.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say it live. If LeBron James and Draymond stupid ass fucking head idiot Green,
big teeth, open mouth, mouth breathing.
Look, I don't honestly. I don't condone violence.
Yeah. No.
But in the finals last year, when Draymond was dancing on the free throw line.
Oh, yeah.
I have never been more physically angry at someone on TV than I was then.
If you were at the game, do you think there's a chance you would have rushed the floor and tried to beat his ass?
If I'm courtside for that, I'm taking one for the team. I'll get banned from Oracle. I don't care.
Yeah.
Or was it? It might have been in Quicken Loans. I think it was in Quicken Loans.
No, it should have been Oracle. It was game 1.
Was it?
Yeah. That was when LeBron dropped 40 and J.R. Smith fucked it all up.
Either way, I don't care if I never go to Oracle again. I certainly don't care if I ever go to the entire city of Cleveland. Never been there. Don't care to go. I'm like Joakim Noah. Like, I'm not gonna get my wife and kids and say, "Hey kids, get in the minivan. We're going to Cleveland. It's vacation." But yeah, I think I've probably had wet dreams about LeBron just beating the shit out of Draymond.
Yeah.
I hate Draymond so much.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Not a fan.
No.
You hate him.
No, I don't hate him. You know what I mean. I don't believe in hatred, but I believe it exists, but I don't believe in doing it. Draymond is by far and large my least favorite athlete of all time.
If you were going to choose one athlete to meet and you had to make a list, Draymond would be at the very, very bottom.
No, I would put Draymond more towards the middle just so I could meet him and tell him to go fuck himself.
Okay, so
it's like John Calipari. Have you heard that story?
No.
Okay, this is a good story. Okay, so
John Calipari.
Setting my senior year of high school. For those of you who don't know, which none of you do, I'm from Kinston, North Carolina, same hometown as Brandon Ingram. We were in the same graduating class, didn't go to the same school, met each other a couple times. Nice guy. Anyways, so I go to Kinston High, where he played basketball, with a group of my friends to, watch Kinston High freaking win by 100 again, because Brandon is insane and was even more insane in high school.
Yeah.
John Calipari and his assistant coach happened to be there scouting Brandon, trying to recruit him to Kentucky. And I am not a big Calipari guy. No. I think he cheats. He cheated at UMass. He cheated at Memphis. He's cheating at Kentucky.
Stand-up guy.
Yeah, he's the worst. He honestly just looks like he's going to pick your pocket.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not a fan.
Did he not pick your pocket that night?
No, he didn't pick my pocket that night. Okay, so here we are. And there's lines of people taking pictures with John Calipari. And I look him up.
If you did pick your pocket, would you have had anything in it of value to John Calipari?
No. He's so rich.
Yeah.
He's so rich.
Yeah.
Like, my life isn't worth what he's worth.
All right, keep going.
I'm with my boys at Kinston High, and I'm like, guys, watch this. I was like, this is going to be really funny. So I go up, and I'm waiting in line patiently while people take their pictures with John Calipari before the game starts.
Oh, my God.
And the assistant coach just keeps taking pictures of the people. Like, they hand him his phone, the people pose with Calipari, and they walk off. I walk up, and I say, hey, Coach Cal, you mind taking a picture? And he was like, no problem. So I took out my phone, and I handed it to Cal, and I, got with his assistant coach. And I, posed with the assistant coach. And he literally looks at my phone. The camera was open, by the way.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't know how to fucking work this shit. And he hands the phone to somebody else to take the picture.
You pissed him off.
Yeah. And my friends were up in the Raptors just freaking dying. Because I finessed John Calipari. Yeah. And that's one of the better things I've done with my life.
Yeah.
No, that is, if someone, this wasn't 4 years ago?
Yeah.
5 years ago? Someone would have been filming that and you would have went viral.
I know. Damn. I would be on House of Highlights or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Watch this high school kid finesse the fuck out of John Calipari. If only. That would have been my claim to fame.
Yep.
But here we are.
You would have known who he was when you started doing
this podcast.
Yeah,
this would give me, I could have self-named this podcast because I'd have credibility. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't even know how we got there.
LeBron, Draymond.
Oh, we're talking about people that I don't like.
Yeah,
okay.
So who would win in the fight?
LeBron will win probably. I like to think that when I have wet dreams about it, it's like a 5-second fight.
Yeah.
And LeBron just walks up to him. He's like, "Sup, bitch," and he just knocks his teeth out.
I would say LeBron wins, but his nutsack will be a little sore because Draymond would probably kick him in the nuts.
That's the perfect starter move. You walk up and just square in the nuts.
It's probably how it would start.
Yeah, that's probably how the fight would start. Yeah. You're right.
And then LeBron would just that'd be pretty much.
And the NBA would probably suspend Draymond for 5 games, and LeBron would get a 10-minute suspension. Thank you, Adam Silver.
Yeah.
For your bias. Okay. Who do you think is winning in a fight between?
This is a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know. Stephen Curry's ankle versus an uneven surface.
Yeah, actually, you know what I said? I said uneven 1 round KO.
Oh, 1 round KO. That's not even close.
Yeah. You know, I don't even think it would be pay-per-view. No. Honestly, I think everyone would know.
It's more of like a street fight thing.
Yeah.
Like, Steph, if you come back to North Carolina, it's icy outside. Just stay inside. Yeah. Stay warm. Cuddle up next to Aisha. And
honestly, he needs some kind of electric thing to move around in.
Yeah.
Just, what's something that doesn't, like, I mean, not a wheelchair, but...
Like an electric scooter, you think?
Well...
Yeah,
who knows? Use your ankle for that.
Like twist his wheel or something,
Yeah.
He'll fall out.
Yeah.
I mean...
For people that don't know, Steph gets injured a lot with his ankle.
He has paper skin and glass bones,
Yeah.
and he breaks his legs every morning and his arms every evening.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is... I would call it the most tasteless.
And most offensive.
The most offensive one, so sorry. But who you got in a fight between Ray Rice and Kareem Hunt?
Okay, so first of all, I said there would be one loser, and that would be their careers. But if you look at footage, you just go by the eye test.
Oh, yeah, you gotta use the eye test, dude.
Ray Rice wins every time. Dude has a mean hook. Mean hook. I mean, Kareem Hunt, honestly, if we're going to rate his kick, it was subpar.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was a Chris Boswell kick.
Yeah, that was a Chris Boswell. He almost Charlie Brown. He almost...
I mean, it depends. Are Kareem Hunt's boys there? Like, can he shove his boys into Ray Rice?
Yeah, that's another factor.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The eye test, you got it with Ray Rice, but there's a lot of other variables.
I mean, there's a lot of speed. You can see the torque.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he punched really hard. I would not want to do that.
Yeah, he punched very hard. If I could think of another word besides very, I would describe it as how he punched, but he punched very hard.
Yep.
Yes. Ray Rice.
Man.
But both their careers are the losers. And, of course...
Rightfully so,
yeah,
by
rightfully
the way.
So.
Don't hit people.
Yeah.
Especially women.
Yeah.
That... Honestly, I think I'm going to change the name of the podcast. Don't hit people, especially women.
Yeah.
The podcast. Because that's probably... if we talk about sports
rule
long
one
enough,
through life, and you should be okay.
If we work on this podcast long enough, we're going to talk about someone hitting a woman, what, once every quarter, probably?
Yeah.
10.
Ruben Foster.
Yeah. But he got signed. You know, he got signed with no regrets. It's because there's no video.
Yeah.
There's no video.
Yeah.
That's a PR nightmare to have a video.
Yeah.
All right. If you're going to beat someone, do it in the dark.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Look, I'm renaming it again. Don't beat people, especially women, but if you're going to do it, don't do it in the dark.
No, do it in the dark.
Do it in the dark.
Yeah.
Do it in the dark.
Don't mislead people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. Make sure the lights are off.
Yeah.
Also, quick side note. Can we talk about how loyal his friend was to get freaking bodied, like, into the wall, stand up, not do anything to Kareem, but then see someone with a phone, take it, and throw it?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine? I'm about to fight somebody, and you're like, Adam, don't do this. And I just push you down, and then your first reaction is not to be like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's, hey, man, are you recording this?
Yeah.
This guy, you know, he's starting a podcast. You know,
he has a public image to it, though. His name of the podcast is literally "Don't Hit People, Especially Women," and he's attacking this woman, and you're going to record it? You could ruin this guy's career. No, Adam would never do that.
I would never.
Never.
I've only hit a few people.
I would never do that. No, not to be clear. I said Adam. Also, myself would never do that.
We don't hit women.
We don't hit women. We don't hit people for the most part. With our fists.
Yeah. It's mostly like emotional hits.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, idiot?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's past your bedtime.
Yeah.
Okay. Next little section, and I came up with this just because when I look, I was like, all right, what are we gonna talk about the NBA, because we gotta talk about the NBA. The NBA to me, and people can view it how they want to view it, but it's just kind of the Warriors and everybody else. I know the Warriors have 9 losses. Oh yeah, they're probably not they're gonna win the championship. So can you name 5 teams in the NBA that if you combine their rosters would still lose to the Warriors in 7 games. In a 7-game series.
Look, I did some deep diving research here.
Okay. So first of all, is it you feel like you can name 5 teams that would still lose to the Warriors, or do you feel like you couldn't find 5 teams?
I think I could. I mean, I obviously took the easiest route. I just went the worst 5 teams in the league.
Okay.
But when you look at it, there's obviously a depth problem. You know, the 5-team guys. I mean, if you take the best 13 or whatever, they're gonna be better. The third string is gonna be better than the Warriors' third string.
Well, yeah.
But could they beat them in a 7-game series? I don't know. Because here's the one okay, these are the 5 teams I did.
Okay.
Suns, Kings, Bulls, Cavs, Hawks.
Suns, Kings, Bulls, Cavs, Hawks. Okay.
Is that who you did?
No.
Okay. Well, here you go. There is one All-Star on that team. Devin Booker.
That's why I did not include the Suns for myself.
And he's washed.
Yeah.
Okay. When I say he's washed.
He's washed.
He's already in his prime. No. Is he already in his prime? Yes or no?
No.
You don't think he's in his prime?
Well, I don't know. I guess I don't watch Phoenix that much, but
who does?
Yeah.
Phoenix doesn't watch Phoenix that much.
I mean, he's young.
He's relatively young. He's the same age as Boogie, is he not?
Yeah, I guess he is not that young, to be fair. I guess, yeah, he's in his prime.
He should be, anyways.
Should be in his prime. If he was on a better team, and I could see him playing.
And to be fair, he's averaging 23.5 points, 7 assists a game.
Yeah.
That's good. Those are good numbers. But how many wins do they have? 5? 4?
4.
If you only have 4 wins, you're not very good at basketball.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are professional players. And they've had, one of the top 3 picks the last 3 seasons, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got Josh Jackson, sucks. DeAndre Ayton, who I really think is going to be good. I do. Who else did they get? Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe they only had 2 of them. Yeah.
But
anywho, so from the Suns, I took their best 2 players, obviously, and Booker and DeAndre Ayton.
Right.
Then I went to the Kings. They are bad. Their record is good, and kudos. I'm not even sure who their head coach is.
Yeah, you picked the Kings there because they're not terrible.
No, they're really not. Yeah, you're right. So maybe, you know what? I didn't pick the worst 5 teams.
Yeah,
kudos to me.
Yeah.
But Kings, as a team, doing pretty well.
But as individuals.
But individuals, their best 2 players, De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield. That's who I have. You could argue Marvin Bagley, maybe. But I mean, he's a rookie. He's young. Yeah. He's not ready.
Yeah.
These guys are ready to play the Warriors. You go Bulls. Zach LaVine is having his best season ever. He's averaging 24 points a game. Good.
Not an all-star.
Not an all-star.
To be clear, guys, Warriors have 4 all-stars. 5, sorry.
5 all-stars.
5 all-stars.
And Boogie isn't healthy yet.
We are taking 5 teams, and we found 1 all-star.
Yeah.
And your 5 teams.
Yeah. And then you got Lauri Markkanen from the Bulls, who is, I nut over Lauri Markkanen. He is good. Yeah. He's really good. And I think that he would be the X factor in this team.
And Jabari Parker's having a good year.
He is.
Yeah.
But, odds are he and Steph are on the same, don't go outside list. If he, looks at a crevice on the ground wrong, his knee is just going to explode. Yeah, true. I feel so bad. I hate it for players that do that, but it's the truth. Then you go Cavs. Cavs, I picked 3 people from the Cavs because I think they have 3 people who can contribute. We got Colin Sexton, who is basically De'Aaron Fox Jr., and, that's saying something because De'Aaron Fox is...
De'Aaron Fox is playing well.
He's playing really well. He might be the 3rd best player on this team.
Yeah.
Then you got Colin Sexton. Jordan Clarkson, he's a proven role player. He can shoot the ball well. Tristan Thompson, when he wants to, can play really good basketball. He's a double-double machine. Then I got the Hawks. I was surprised when I looked at these stats. I do like John Collins. I didn't realize he was this good. 18 points a game, 8 rebounds a game.
Yeah, he's playing well.
Yeah, he's playing really well from Wake Forest. And then Trae Young. Okay. So, that's my team.
So, what's your starting 5? Let's do starting 5.
Starting 5 is we got De'Aaron at the 1.
Right.
Devin Booker at the 2.
Okay.
Zach LaVine would get considerable minutes. At the 3, we're running John Collins, Buddy Hield. At the 4, we're running Lauri Markkanen, John Collins. At the 5, we got DeAndre Ayton and Tristan Thompson.
Yeah.
So my starting 5 is Fox, Booker, Collins, Markkanen, and Ayton. So if we just compare that right now, Boogie's on the backup. You know what? Actually, let me hear your starting 5 first because I kind of did just a little bit of research on the Warriors. So tell me walk me through your process here.
I'm gonna admit I did not go as in depth like with roster wise, but I did have a starting 5.
Okay.
But my teams were a little different. I think our common ones were Hawks, Cavs, and Chicago.
Okay.
But I did not put the Suns in because I thought Devin Booker was the best player on these really bad teams.
Absolutely.
So I was like, if I'm going to find 5 teams that are definitely going to lose, I didn't want Devin Booker in there. I had him in, deleted him, and I put Miami just because they have a team, like just kind of similar to your Kings argument. They have a team that's like not, what do they have, 11 wins or something like that? But the players on their team are just not the players that are ready. I mean, Josh Richardson is their leading scorer.
Wow.
Yeah. Goran Dragic.
Yeah.
And like washed up D Wade, right? So
yeah. And washed up Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah. That dude got washed up fast.
Super washed.
And then the Brooklyn Nets was my other team, which you got like D'Angelo Russell, and then because their main guy got hurt, Vert, and so really it's just D'Angelo Russell. So those are my 5 teams. So only 2 different being the Nets and Miami. So my starting 5 is terrible.
Hit me with it again. Tell me what your starting 5 is.
Okay, my starting 5 would be, I guess, Colin Sexton at the 1
over
Trae Young or Goran Dragic. I mean, maybe Goran Dragic for the start.
I guess what is what's his name? Ice in the Veins guy. Nets. God, I'm blanking. Did you say the Nets?
D'Angelo Russell?
Yeah, you said the Nets.
Yeah,
right?
I said the Nets. D'Angelo Russell?
He runs the 1, no?
Yeah, he does.
He's probably the best one.
Okay, so, I mean, D'Angelo Russell at the 1. Trae Young or probably Sexton at the 2 over Trae Young. One of those 2.
Yeah.
Then, I mean, who at the 3, maybe Zach LaVine from Chicago.
Yeah.
4, Jabari Parker from Chicago.
Yeah,
and then maybe Hassan Whiteside at the 5. Like, that team is not... That team might get swept. That team might get swept by the Warriors. But they have the depth. That's your argument?
Yeah, that's my argument.
Okay.
So
what's your research on the Warriors?
So, honestly, when I was looking at my 5 teams, and I was like, there's no way that the Warriors could beat this team. Like, obviously, the starting 5 is better, but the depth is just, there's no way they're as deep as these teams are.
That's true.
But let me read to you my depth charts. Okay, so at the 1 for my 5-team lineup, we'll call them the Middle America Turds. Okay, they
good name.
At the 1 we got De'Aaron Fox, Trae Young, and Colin Sexton. Pretty good group.
Yeah.
But at the 1 in the Warriors depth chart, their listed depth chart, Stephen Curry, Sean Livingston, Quinn Cook. Like, that surprised me.
Say your 3 again.
De'Aaron Fox, Trae Young, Colin Sexton.
Okay, yeah.
So, Warriors win 2 out of 3 of those.
Right.
At the 2, Devin Booker, Zach LaVine, Jordan Clarkson. Now, the Middle America Turds win this one because the Warriors have Klay Thompson, which is better than Devin Booker.
Yep.
Arguably, as a complete basketball player, he's better. As a scorer, Devin Booker might be better. And then their backup is Jacob Evans. Never heard of this guy. I'm really sorry. At the 3, it's John Collins and Buddy Hield versus Kevin Durant and Andre Iguodala. So, honestly, Collins and Hield, neither of them are better than Iguodala. No.
So, Warriors won that one.
Warriors won that one.
So, what is it? 2-1.
Yeah.
Turds 2-1, right?
No, the Warriors are up 2-1.
Oh, so you said they won.
They won the 1 and they won the 3.
Okay.
At the 4, I said that Markkanen and John Collins. Draymond is obviously better than both of those guys as a basketball player. He's better.
Yeah, as a basketball player.
Their backup is Jonas Jerebko. And I said, that's a very familiar name. He's been around the league since, mid-2000s probably. So I said, okay, I'm going to look something up on him.
He's number 41, right? The white guy.
Yeah, he's definitely white. You can't be white and have a name like Jerebko.
Okay. He was hitting. He gets minutes.
Exactly.
He gets minutes.
Okay, this is what surprised me. Okay, his per 36. So that's an advanced stat where you inflate their numbers to fit a certain time scale. His per 36, which is I think it's around the average number of minutes for a player in the NBA, is 13.5 points and 8.5 rebounds.
I watched the Warriors Bucks game the other night. He was playing the majority of the game and he was draining.
Exactly. And you compare that to the backup 4, which would be John Collins on the Turds.
Yeah.
And he averages 18 and 8. So yes, John Collins is better, but he's not that much better.
Yeah, and so there's no way that he doesn't cancel out Draymond being better than the starter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Warriors win number 4.
Yeah. So already they've won the positions.
Yeah, and then you go to the 5. You got DeAndre Ayton, Tristan Thompson, who is a finals choke artist. God forbid a Kardashian be in the building.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking Kardashian.
And
Dayton Benson is that man. Oh, God.
Just at the 5. This is who they run at the 5. Boogie's hurt.
Yeah.
So even if you don't want to put Boogie in there, you have Kevin Looney, Jordan Bell, and Damian Jones. Those aren't awful players. If you put Boogie in there, healthy Boogie, I think that the Warriors have that depth-wise, personally.
Yeah.
Numbers might would prove otherwise, but I think Kevin Looney's done a much better job than Zaza did. Because Zaza is trash.
Yep.
He's absolutely garbage, and he's dirty. He's absolutely dirty. I mean, as a consolation, we can give the Turds the 5, the center position, but I'm not convinced that that's a dub for them either. But what I was surprised at was, I mean, Curry, Livingston, KD, Iggy, Draymond, and Jonas, and then you got Boogie and Clay at the other spots.
Yeah.
Like, the hell? Like, stop. Freaking, please. Stop. Stop it.
I will say this. Something tells me this might be the last year that the Warriors are that dominant.
Yeah.
I foresee something. Now, I could be completely wrong. KD could resign.
Yeah.
I mean, Boogie's not resigning.
No.
No way.
Boogie shouldn't have signed
But KD could resign. But something tells me this is it. This is the last year. Something's going to happen with LeBron in LA. Somebody's going to go there. KD's going to go somewhere else.
KD could go there. Don't count that out. There. Stephen A. thinks KD's going to LA.
But did you see what KD said the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when KD said that the environment around LeBron is toxic.
And he would say, who would want to play there?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I buy it. I don't. Maybe KD wouldn't thrive in that environment because he can't take scrutiny at all.
He's so sensitive.
He is so sensitive. But
if you hear this, KD, don't tweet out your burner.
I honestly feel like that might have been targeted at Clay.
At Clay? Like, they try to keep Clay.
Or at least keep him off of LA because KD knows. KD knows that if it was Warriors -1 Klay Thompson, Lakers +1 Klay Thompson, that's the Lakers are gonna win.
Yeah, they are. LeBron and Klay. I can't really think of two types of players that would just blend so
yeah.
well.
I mean,
so well.
Klay loves being a spot up shooter.
Yeah,
he's not that good off the dribble.
No.
And if you have...
He's good at defense.
Exactly. And LeBron, admittedly, the past couple of years has not been himself on defense. And I think that's because he's been carrying the weight on...
Little effort. Because, I don't know, carrying the weight on offense and then kind of take some plays off.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. But, LeBron is a type of guy that if you're a shooter, he will put the ball exactly where you want it in your hands.
Yeah.
If you're standing in the corner, if you like the ball at your knees, he'll hit you in your knees. If you want it right where you're going to release the ball from, he'll hit you right there.
Yeah.
He's that good.
Yeah.
And Clay's good already. I mean, I think that if Clay, it would not be unheard of to see Clay on open threes shooting 55% or above if he was playing with LeBron. That's how.
That'd be nice. I hope that happens.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of where these guys go, we're looking at the West picture.
Yeah, that's what we're getting at. I mean, Lakers, Warriors. That's what most people view as going to be 1 and 2 of the West. Now that apparently the Rockets are, not good anymore. Apparently. So, but when you look at the West right now, this is what it looks like in the top 4 teams. 1, OKC.
Mm-hmm.
2, Golden State.
Yep.
3, Denver. 4, Clippers.
Yep. And then 5 is Lakers.
5 is Lakers.
Yeah.
Of those top 4, excluding the Lakers, we were like, hey, well, because the West is kind of crazy, and a lot of people are just writing it off as it's going to adjust itself. Of those top 4, Denver, OKC, and the Clippers, outside of the Warriors, because we assume they're going to be in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those teams, if any, do you have in your top 4 at the end of the year?
I think the Clippers are going to fall out.
Yep, me too.
Because, they're leaning on Tobias Harris. And Tobias is a great player. He was good in Detroit. He's been really good under Doc Rivers. He's Player of the Month last month.
Yeah.
I don't think he can sustain it, really. I see the Lakers taking their spot. I don't think the Warriors are going to be the number 1 seed.
Wow.
I think the Thunder might be the number 1 seed. They're playing great basketball, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. Wow.
I do think the Nuggets are legit. I don't know if they're top 4 legit. They're definitely deep playoff legit. When I was looking, I agree with the people who say it's going to even out. The Rockets are going to start winning games. They're going to make the playoffs,
yes.
And they're going to make a decent run.
Are they going to be top 4?
No, they won't.
I don't think so. I think their defense is so bad.
Yeah, they're missing Patrick Beverly. That's for sure.
And Mbah Mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their defense is awful, but I just find it hard to think that they will not. They'll make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Same with Utah. Utah will make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They just have to get it together. I really don't know what the problem is with Utah. They've had no major changes. If anything, they added Kyle Korver, who, every team needs a Kyle Korver.
They need shooters.
Yeah. And they got one. And Grayson is a decent shooter. Donovan, there's few better slashers in the league than Donovan Mitchell.
I'll tell you what's the difference is that, among other things, Donovan Mitchell has not been Donovan Mitchell last year.
He's averaging 20-something points a game.
But just shooting percentage-wise, it's because it's all on him. Because he played so well last year, it's almost like they've adapted to the point like, hey, give Donovan the ball, and we're just going to watch.
Yeah.
And that's a little too much.
Yeah. I feel like both teams have learned from the LeBron teams that have good chemistry already. You look at the Cavs, they were easily the best team in the East, but there they were getting, the 5th seed in the playoffs, the 4th seed in the playoffs. I think the NBA is getting to a point where they realize it's an 82-game season. Regular season doesn't matter as much.
What's your top 4 then at the end of the season?
I'd probably say it'll be Thunder, Warriors. Sorry, that sounded weird. Thunder, Warriors, Nuggets, Lakers. I think it could be Lakers, Nuggets. So.
I have Warriors, Lakers. which I guess is a little more basic, and then I have Denver, OKC. I have OKC at the 4 because of a couple reasons. OKC was really good at the beginning of last year, I think. Or no, they struggled. I don't know. They had some point where they went off and were like at the top, and then they just collapsed at the end. The reason why they can collapse so much is because they have defense. They have Russ and PG. Yeah. But they have no depth. And they have very little depth, and they turn it over so much. When you look at the reason why I have Denver still in the top 4 is because when you have a team that admittedly doesn't have a ton of talent compared to some of these other Western teams, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got
Jamal Murray's the premier guard,
and Jokic is like your second best player. Right? I mean, he's been playing really well. Like, dude is balling. Yeah. But you can't really compare it to Russ, PG, LeBron, and the Lakers and the Warriors team. When you have a team that's not super talented, you have to be efficient offensively. Yeah. Efficient offensively means make the most of every possession. Right. At least get a shot off on every possession. Right. And they're the best at it. They have the best turnover to assist to turnover ratio, number 1 in the league. And that's why they're able to score enough points to win the game, and then they defend, and they're third. I mean, if you don't have a lot of talent, you got to be good at defense. They're 4th in the league in points against, right? So Thunder are good at that too. They're 5th, but they're 17th in turnovers. They turn over a lot. There's just the turnover ratio is like in the late teens.
That comes with Russ.
With a Russ. Yeah. And that's why I feel like you're either really doing well or you just have a streak where it's turnover, fast break bucket. They don't have enough shooters. They're like 29th in like 3-point percentage or something. They don't have enough shooters to really counteract that they can just go down and start draining threes to make up for all these turnovers that turned into all these points on the other end.
Yeah, but I mean
But right now they look really
the good. Difference in the Thunder this year versus years before is Paul George is playing ball. I think he's finally comfortable in OKC. There was this whole cloud looming all of last year.
I can't believe it. On a side note, I'm surprised he stayed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that kind of disproves KD's theory that, I mean, that Russ is just a cancer. Yeah. And it furthers my theory that KD is a bitch. But, anywho, Paul George is playing ball. And he's playing ball next to Russell Westbrook, my bad. And he's doing it well. And I think with a good number 2, we've seen, when KD was there, they went to the Western Conference Finals, blew it. But, if Paul George can fill that KD role, Steven Adams is still playing. I think this might be the best Thunder team we've seen since KD left.
I'd agree. They're playing like it right now. Yeah. But
I hope they can sustain that. I want Russ to be good.
I like Russ. Yeah. I like Russ. I like his effort. But what are we? 25 games into the season. Yeah.
It's almost a quarter. So
injuries.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna get injured.
Yeah, and Boogie still isn't playing. Yeah. Boogie still isn't playing.
Boogie has not played yet.
Oh man! Stop it, Warriors.
Steph has missed like half.
Warriors
of the games.
I'm begging you, stop it. Stop it.
Their best players missed half the games, and I don't know.
They're still a 2 seed.
And their other all-star. I don't know Boogie where he ranks in terms of their best players. He's probably like
third, maybe. Yeah.
And he hasn't played. So 2 of your top 3 players haven't played, and you're just second.
Bro, the Warriors are washed.
Yeah, man.
It's over. The dynasty's ended. Boogie ruined the chemistry. Yeah. Except he hasn't played yet, and they're still number 2.
KD feud will definitely affect the way they shoot threes.
I love that. The Draymond KD feud. If that's not the biggest malarkey ever.
It's just like, hey, please still watch the
please
NBA.
Watch the final. Dude, what if in the end they're in the finals and Draymond and KD get in a fist fight?
Yeah. What if it comes down to KD triple coverage and Draymond's wide open under the basket? He just doesn't pass to him because he doesn't like him to win the game. That's probably that's what'll happen if you don't have chemistry.
Good Lord. I don't care if you gave these guys a skill set. If you gave a Nazi and 4 Jews that skill set, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They will win the NBA championship.
Yeah.
Like, the Nazi is a cancer.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's a cancer to the team. Draymond is the Nazi. Yes, Draymond is bad for the team.
Yep.
Does it matter? Absolutely not.
You have 5 All-Stars. You have
5 All-Stars.
2 MVPs.
And you have, let me look at it again. You have Sean Livingston coming off the bench. Andre Iguodala, all-time starter, all-time 76er.
MVP candidate when he was with the Sixers.
2-time Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
Sure, winning the gold medal is easy. Getting on the team, really hard.
Yeah.
And then Jonas Jerebko, Mr. 14 and 8 on the per 36.
The X Factor.
So the X Factor, Jonas Jerebko. Don't.
Saying it now, Boogie will not start over Jerebko.
Yeah, look. I'm not saying that I'm calling it, but I'm calling it.
Yeah.
Jonas Jerebko will be the Finals MVP.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Obviously.
it won't be Curry. We know that.
Yeah, certainly won't be Steph Curry.
All right. Next one, very obvious. Transitioning out of the NBA for a little bit into the NFL.
Yeah.
Into probably one of the most common topics for any kind of sports discussion this year is my lovely ex player.
Hey, don't say X yet.
Yeah, well,
it's not over.
Yeah, it's over.
It's
Le'Veon Bell.
It's not over.
Sat out the entire season. I mean, season's not over, but officially after week 10, not coming back, it means that he can't play a game as a Steeler this year, or anybody this year. So he will be a free agent next year, and will probably not go to the Steelers.
He won't be a complete free agent. They can give him. I read up about it. It's some weird tag that they can give him.
Yeah.
Loophole tags.
Yeah.
To keep, so the NFL owners can keep their slaves because that's what they are.
Yes.
That's what they want them to be. I am unbelievably liberal on this topic. Let the players do what they want to do, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what. It drives me insane when people say, "Oh, he could have made $14 million."
Yeah.
And he turned it down.
Yeah. It was his decision.
Yeah. I mean, people were like, he should be thankful. It's like, what do you mean he should be thankful? Like, look, this is a tangent.
Okay.
But I really do. I genuinely feel like there are racial undertones when people say that athletes should take what they're given. Obviously there's not data to back this up, but I mean, most athletes, especially really good athletes, are black.
Yeah.
And it has like a take what you're given, boy, feel to it.
Yeah.
And I hate it, Yeah, Le'Veon Bell could have made $14 million this year. Isn't that right? Is that the number?
14.5, yeah.
$14.5 million this year for 1 year. And that is an insane salary for 1 year.
Yeah.
Or he could get $85 million over the next 5 to 10, and he has a job for 5 to 10, and he has job security, and he's going to make more money.
Yeah.
And my man has already torn an ACL.
Yeah.
He's gone through therapy, and he's come back just as good. There's no telling that next time he steps on the field, he doesn't tear his other ACL, tear the same ACL again, breaks his neck, die. He could. It's a dangerous, violent sport.
Mm-hmm.
He has, the average window is 3 years for an NFL player. He's far surpassed that. So he is living on borrowed time in his career in the NFL. He is one snap away from never playing again.
Yeah.
And people want to, genuinely cost him $70 million and job security because they think that he's made enough money.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is the reason I say that it has racial undertones is because nobody is flipping their fucking shit that Kirk Cousins, the whitest man in the NFL, got $85 million for sucking.
Yeah.
I do not understand the principle that Le'Veon Bell should not have sat out. It was disrespect from the Pittsburgh organization to offer him the franchise tag in the first place when he is easily, at worst, the third best player on that team. At worst, the third best player on that team. His win share is probably 4 games a season. And you're going to act like some guy from Pittsburgh Community College can come in and do running back like Le'Veon Bell does.
University of Pittsburgh.
Sure. Whatever. The jungle. That's what they call it. The jungle. Pittsburgh.
The
zoo. God. Zoo. Yeah, that's worse than the jungle. That's so tame.
Okay.
Where the animals never come out.
Okay. No, I agree with the way that whether it's racial or not, I think you could argue against the fact that one's a quarterback, one's a running back. In terms of the Kirk Cousins, the different positions. Historically, quarterbacks last a lot longer than running backs.
Fair.
But I did view it there, like, just knowing people that I've talked to, most middle-aged white guys are going to be like, oh, he's so disrespectful. Why didn't he just take his money, know his plays, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, I absolutely see that argument. But in terms of my argument, or what's interesting to me about this is, like, hey, it's Le'Veon's decision. I'm a Steelers fan. Obviously, I was like, shit. Well, I wanted them to get a deal. I was like, pay the man. They did offer him a contract, I think, $1 million or $2 million less a year. $1 million less a year, I think, than Todd Gurley's. They'd offered him that. A $14 million a year. Todd Gurley's getting $15 million a year.
Do you think Todd Gurley's worth more than Le'Veon Bell?
I think they're both. I mean, this year, Todd Gurley has looked like Le'Veon Bell has looked in the past. I think he should get at least what Todd Gurley gets.
Yeah.
But they offered them before what Todd Gurley came out with, right? They offered him 14. He turned it down. $14 million a year for 5 years. Yeah. So that's your job security. That's $14 a year.
Yeah.
He didn't view it as enough.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
He turned down the 14 for this year, the franchise tag. He said publicly before that he was going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone freaked out when it happened. I knew it was going to happen.
Right.
There were people who were telling me, like, asking me for fantasy advice. Hey, who should I get with the second pick? I was like, don't get Le'Veon. He's not going to play. I thought he'd come back. I admit I didn't know he'd sit out the whole year. But I knew he was dead ass serious. No one took it seriously. He said I would definitely consider not playing a season or retiring if I get franchise tagged again.
Yeah.
He didn't just say that to just fucking say that, like he meant it.
Yeah.
And so when they franchised him again and he wasn't signing it, I was like, this isn't just like last year.
Yeah. He's
not going to play until something happens, or maybe he'll come back. I thought on week 8 or whatever that everyone was before the trade deadline. That's whenever I thought maybe he'd come back. I didn't know it could be the whole year. But my interesting take on this, or what's going to be interesting for me to see, is how it plays out in terms of what contract he gets next year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what will set the precedent for the rest of the people holding out or that think about this, because they have the freedom to hold out.
Yeah.
And it is frowned upon, but they can't do it. So, is it worth it?
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
With Le'Veon, what contract he gets. If he can get his contract he wants, then it's all worth it.
Yeah.
If he gets offers that are just exactly the same as what Pittsburgh was offering him, then it's like, wow, you just missed out on that $14 million for no reason.
Yeah.
But if he can find a team that offers him 16, 17 a year,
at the Jets,
the Colts, the teams with large.
Dude, if he goes to the Colts, I'll be really happy.
Yeah.
That'll be a dub for him.
Yeah.
Major dub. Even if he gets offered the same money, going to Indianapolis versus playing with this Pittsburgh team is a dub.
Yeah.
Sure. Unfortunately.
Sure.
For you.
Sure.
I mean, there are conflicting reports saying that he just wants like an astronomical amount. And once again, he has every right in the world.
I heard he said no lower than 17 a year, which has never been done before, ever.
But
for a running back.
I mean, he is the best pass catching running back in the league. He is, he's basically second to none as a blocking back in the league.
I would have paid him.
And he is easily top 3 running the ball. Yeah. I mean, all 3 phases of being a running back, he is in the top 3 at his position.
Yeah.
And Todd Gurley, good blocking back, good running back, good out of the backfield. Yeah. And they're the only, I think there are probably 4 running backs in the league that you can give the all 3 tag to. And that's David Johnson, which is questionable at this point in the season.
This team's really bad.
Yeah. So it's not maybe not a viable claim, but from what I've seen, David Johnson, Todd Gurley, Le'Veon Bell, and Saquon Barkley are the 4 running backs. Even Zeke. Zeke isn't that good out of the backfield.
Yeah.
He's a great blocking back. And between the tackles, he's outstanding. But, I mean, you put him running a wheel route. I mean, you can't. Le'Veon Bell literally was a slot receiver.
Yeah. For the Steelers.
Yeah. I mean.
He lined up, I'm pretty sure last year he lined up almost the same amount of time at split out as he was actually as a running back. And
that's unheard of. And granted, that's a scheme thing.
Yeah.
And I think Todd McVay would probably do the same thing with Le'Veon. Sean McVay. I said Todd.
Yeah.
I was thinking Todd McShay.
Yeah.
Sean McVay would do the same thing, but I don't know, man. I've watched a lot of football in my life. I've watched a lot. I've done a lot of research on football history, and you can make a case for Le'Veon being at the very lowest, top 10 all-time running back.
Yeah. I would agree. He deserves $17 million a year, but at the same time, I see the viewpoint from general managers and from teams is historically, like you mentioned it, the 3-year window of NFL players for running backs. It's got to be lower for a running back in general, and just in terms of playing past 30. I mean, there's not many that's made it, right?
And just as if I probably wasn't clear on this opinion, just as Le'Veon Bell has the right to run his life how he wants to. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a privately run business, and they have every right to not pay him. Yeah. I mean...
And they felt that James Conner, I mean, he's not Le'Veon Bell, but they were like, it's not
He's an effective running back.
He's an effective... We offered him, in our minds, $14 million a year for 5 years was the most he's worth. Yep. Steelers, as a preface, never give big contracts.
Yep. They're them in New England, both. I mean... Yeah. Even Tom Brady isn't on a big contract. Yeah, I mean, granted, his wife makes $100 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, they have endorsements. Yeah, they're doing okay.
Yeah, they're doing.
AB, they gave out AB. That's the same last off season, or maybe the one up before. They gave him a huge contract. Yeah. Probably I think it was the record contract for the Pittsburgh Steelers for a wide receiver ever.
Well, he's the best.
Yeah,
well,
he deserves.
Actually, I don't know that he's the best Steelers wide receiver ever, but that's a different discussion for a different.
But I mean, he deserved it, and obviously with just inflation, that's gonna as time goes on, you're gonna see bigger and bigger contracts. Yeah. But it's like if I'm the Steelers, like, man, I just gave this huge contract. Now I'm like, this is the most I'm giving, and at the same time, we have confidence in this guy, James Conner, who's young. Yeah.
I think my beef is not with the Steelers organization. My beef is with the public and the media that frame Le'Veon Bell as a bad guy.
And the media is where I see your argument.
Yeah, I mean,
because just talking to other people and their opinions on it, there's people that are like, get his money, and there's a lot of people who are like, it's disrespectful.
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially two businesses who just could not agree on a trade. Yeah, couldn't agree on a deal, and. I'm not going to get pissed if Coke and Pepsi don't sign a contract together. So.
What do you think about the franchise tag rule in general? Do you think that should be allowed?
Well, I think the franchise tag is fine. What I'm not fine with is how you have to sign it or you don't play. Yeah. And I guess that is the point of it. It's like it was like a countermeasure to free agency to begin with.
Can you franchise? Yeah. No, I think this is how they should do it. You can only franchise players you drafted. That's how they should change it. If they want, because if they want to have a franchise tag, I personally don't really know why they have to have one. Like if you can't come to terms with the player, and they want to go elsewhere, then they should be able to go. But it's not just because a player picks you in free agency. The fact that you can just say, we're franchising you, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I feel like, hey, we found this guy in the draft. We worked really hard. Yeah. Just because our salary cap's tight this year, we're going to franchise them and we can't afford to sign long term this year, but next year maybe we can. They should be able to do that versus like, oh, just because we have a tight salary cap, we lose this guy.
Yeah, I think, and just like a lot of things in life, it's how it's used, because like I feel like and once again Pittsburgh's at liberty to do this. I feel in the Le'Veon Bell case, I mean these talks have been going on for 2-3 years about extensions, and they've never reached a deal. It felt to me like they were holding Le'Veon Bell hostage, and that's in my opinion, an immoral way to use the franchise tag. I mean, like you said, if you can't find the room in your cap space, and you both decided that you want to continue, like the guy doesn't want out, he just wants to re-sign with the Carolina Panthers, and you just don't have the money to pay him.
Yeah.
If you say, we'll give you what we'll give you your franchise tag worth for a year, and we can next year we have a lot more wiggle room in the budget, and we will sign you.
Okay.
I mean, I think there has to be some sort of like compromise there. I think the franchise tag.
How would you phrase that in like a rule? How would you?
I mean, I don't know that you could. I think it's just a moral thing.
Yeah.
Like it's wrong to hold people captive.
What if? And this is really far fetched, but in the NBA, a trade can be vetoed.
Right.
What if the commissioner or some kind of entity could say, "Hey, this is an immoral use of franchise tag," and veto it and say he should be able to go wherever he wants because you have no plan with this guy long term. You just want him this year.
Yeah, I guess the way that you would approach that would be that the NFLPA and the NFL would have to work together, document contract negotiations, which in all honesty would probably have more benefits beyond the franchise tag because we're looking at transparency of teams that teams don't want to be transparent, and if they were, that'd be a positive for the players. But if the NFLPA and the NFL work together to document contract negotiations, so like there would be proof for a reasonable veto of a franchise tag.
There should be a documentation of contract negotiations.
Yeah, thorough documentation.
Absolutely. Okay, I think we should move on from Le'Veon.
Yeah. We'll go back to Le'Veon when the story develops.
Yeah, once he starts hearing where he's going to go in the offseason, we'll be talking about Le'Veon a lot.
Yeah.
I have a feeling. This past week, there was football games.
There were.
There were
15 of them.
Yeah. There were a lot. And there were some pretty good ones.
Per usual. NFL is awesome.
And you, as a Patriots fan, had a very interesting game with Miami pulling the upset in dramatic fashion.
Listen, I saw a tweet. I think it was PFT commentator who said that Gronk meant to let the guy score because it was a 69-yard score. He's really committed to the joke. That's what I like to think happened. Oh. I'm glad, listen.
Yeah, I know you don't care about baseball, but Andrew McCutchen just went to the Phillies.
Oh, that's cool. That's good for you, man.
Good for me, man.
Yeah, big Phillies guy over here.
Yes.
Baseball's terrible, but...
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
But
McCutchen's cool.
Phillies get better then.
I know that name, so I know he's cool.
Andrew McCutchen.
Because baseball sucks. If I know your name, you're pretty good.
Okay, go on about your New England.
Okay. It's easy to be a New England fan. I tell you that.
Yeah.
And
right.
Yes, okay.
Got that.
People will call me a bandwagon.
Yeah.
And that might be fair. Okay. And the reason it's fair is because when I started liking them, they were really good.
Yeah.
I was also 8.
Yeah.
Who isn't a bandwagon when they're 8 years old? When my parents didn't give a damn about the NFL.
Yeah.
My dad stopped watching when the Houston Oilers had Warren Moon. He was big Oilers guy, my dad was. I'm sure.
So why didn't you root for the Oilers?
I don't know. I should be a Titans guy. Mariota, man.
Tighten up, baby.
Jesus Christ. Okay, but as a New England fan, it's really easy to lose to the Dolphins because we're so much better than the Dolphins. Like, as a franchise...
This is your second. Did you get swept by the Dolphins this year? Y'all got swept by the Dolphins.
Half your losses on the Dolphins.
It's okay though because we're gonna be the 2 seed in the AFC, and it's fine. We're fine.
I don't know if you'll be the 2 seed, but you're gonna be fine.
We're fine.
You're fine.
Aaron Rodgers, RELAX, relax.
Yeah.
Relax.
No.
It's funny. It was honestly funny.
Yeah,
it was laughable.
When I saw this game, I didn't think, "Oh, New England's bad." That's not what I thought.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, awesome! Hype as fuck." Steelers might have a chance at 2 seed. Then they lost to the Raiders. Ben got hurt, and then I wanted to kill myself. But I also said like they're gonna be fine. It's a fucking lateral play. Like you have to lose on these crazy plays.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say if you're New England to be nervous about is you gave up 34 points to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, dude. I'll touch on it, but wake up on the Dolphins. Like as a Patriots
First round exit if they make the playoffs.
Oh man, we are disagreeing. Adam Gase is a good coach. Ryan Tannehill, subpar quarterback. And he put up 34 points.
Yeah.
Coach Zimmer put up 7 with Kirk Cousins. Captain Kirk put up 7 points with Mike Zimmer.
I'm not saying Adam Gase, but he just doesn't have the talent. He doesn't have the talent to win a playoff game.
You know what? I just disagree with you.
Yeah. Well,
I disagree with you.
We're not going to talk about. We could talk about that come playoff time when they lose in the first round.
They very well might, but
I don't even think they're going to make the playoffs.
I disagree.
Okay,
we'll see.
Well,
We'll talk
something
about
later on that.
We'll talk.
All right, another game. Last night,
Yeah.
Seattle, Minnesota. I have a little bit to say about this, but before we get into the actual game itself and the two teams, one question that is arising from, and you pointed it out from this game is, and you want to elaborate a little bit, the question about the quarterbacks and big contracts, and obviously Kirk Cousins having a humongous contract in this game, but it's seen across the league is, when do you feel comfortable? How do you know that this quarterback deserves a contract?
Yeah, I mean, especially we have a lot of young guys that have a decent season, and Kirk Cousins had a string of decent seasons. Well, he had 3,000 yard passing seasons or something like that with Washington, and then he gets this huge contract with Minnesota.
Huge,
$85 million contract. We got Jimmy Garoppolo, 7-0, undefeated, goes to San Francisco, and I'm not ready to call him washed.
Tom Brady got him that contract.
Bill Belichick got him that contract.
Yeah, Bill Belichick got him that contract.
But, Derek Carr, huge contract, and I'm ready to say he's washed. Yeah. He's ass. He's ass. He was never good.
I mean, he's quite arguably the opposite of good.
Yeah, he's bad.
Yeah.
He's bad. But then you have guys like Andrew Luck, young guy, got a big contract. He's worth it. Yeah. Matt Stafford, he was young when he got his contract, and I'm a big Stafford guy. A lot of people hate on Stafford. I like Stafford. Yeah. I think the guy's a winner. I think he's had a lot of untalented teams that he has made better than they are. I mean, he leads twice in his career. He's led the league in game-winning drives. Yeah. I mean, granted, did he waste Calvin Johnson? Yeah. Absolutely.
But that was as an organization they wasted Calvin Johnson.
And Calvin Johnson would be a lot better. He could still be playing. Calvin to New England, calling it. But yeah, I don't know how you evaluate a quarterback and say, okay, he is worth max money.
Yeah. I think the reason these people are getting big contracts when they're young is because it's come to the point where in an NFL, you can't win without a quarterback.
I mean, that's true.
And
i.e. the Giants.
I.e. the Giants, i.e. the Jaguars. You can't sustainably win. You can't sustainably win without a quarterback in the NFL. Maybe you get lucky one year and your defense is godly. Jaguars, Peyton Manning, then the Broncos, and win a Super Bowl or something. You can't every year in year out have a shitty ass Blake Bortles type of quarterback or washed up Eli Manning or washed up Peyton Manning and go to the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
So when they see these decent quarterbacks or quarterbacks that have at least played like 2 or 3 years and have pretty good stats, teams are like, well, shit, we have to get this guy or we have no chance. And if you look at the market, we don't have any, unless we get lucky in the draft, we don't have any other option but to sign this guy if we want to win now. So it's like, that's why I think when you think with Kirk Cousins, and that's why everyone was willing to sign him so much and it was expected for him to get this huge contract, is because who else are you going to get?
I don't know, man.
Are you going to draft Josh Allen and start him at your quarterback?
Hey, Josh Allen greater than Michael Vick? ? Did you see he broke his 3-game rushing record or something like that?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, hey. I mean, I just feel like you're just taking such a risk because that's so much money.
Yeah.
It's not like the franchise tag where, yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's 1 year. And Kirk Cousins is a franchise tag survivor. Shout out to Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money off the franchise tag, and he stayed healthy.
Yeah.
And he played well through that franchise tag and got himself that money. But
Kirk just isn't a winner, man. He's not a winner.
he's not. And I call it, I mean, it's the Tim Tebow effect. Like, Stafford has it. Baker Mayfield has it. It's that X factor where Tom Brady has it. I know Tom Brady did it first. Still the Tebow effect. He's a winner. Tim Tebow is possibly the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life. But my man was a baller. He won games.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, Demaryius Thomas was wide open. But that's because Tim Tebow made it happen.
Missed the tackle.
Tim Tebow made it happen. Yeah. I just, I question young, unproven quarterbacks getting these massive contracts.
Yeah. I mean, we got young guys right now, aside from the rookies, aside from Pat Mahomes, aside from Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz. What other younger quarterbacks are there?
Deshaun Watson.
These second-year guys, their paydays are going to come in probably the next 2 years.
It's going to be interesting to see how Carson gets paid.
Yeah.
There's no way he gets a record deal. Deshaun Watson might get a record deal.
Jared Goff.
Record deal. He's in LA. Record deal.
Carson has got to play better next year.
Carson has played bad.
Carson has a bad team.
Carson has a Super Bowl team.
Carson has no running backs.
Carson has 4 running backs. Wendell Smallwood, Jay Ajayi.
Towards ACL.
Jay Ajayi's out. That's right. Damn. Rip. Wendell Smallwood, Darren Sproles.
Darren Sproles was hurt for the entire season except for the last game.
Of last year or this year?
This year.
I need to brush up on my Eagles stuff.
2 or
Okay,
3
who are their running backs? Wendell Smallwood.
Corey Clement.
Oh, Josh Adams.
Josh Adams.
I have him on my fantasy team. He's good.
Josh Adams. Okay, but
They also have Golden Tate and Alshon Jeffrey and Zach Ertz and a great offensive line and a decent defense.
An offensive line that's banged up and hasn't been playing well this year. And
Carson
not
Wentz
a
is
decent,
banged
decent
up.
defense. Oh my God, no.
Oh well, their front seven. Their front seven is decent.
Their secondary.
And their secondary is injury ridden. It's bad.
And
But
10 D-backs on IR.
You're right. Okay. You're absolutely right about the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm absolutely wrong about the Philadelphia Eagles.
Carson Wentz.
But Carson Wentz
he's played bad. But
they lost to the Panthers.
Okay, when the Panthers were playing well at that point in time, he blew the whole lead. The Eagles are bad. Carson's played bad, but it is not his fault. We're 6-7.
There's a lot of things that go into the
bad.
Eagles being bad. I think obviously the most glaringly obvious one is the lack of secondary.
Yes.
And the fact that
we're not scoring this year because he has no running game. I know Josh Adams can. I mean, but I don't think he's maybe had one game with over 100 yards. For the season, we probably had like 2 or 3 games over 100 yards.
Better than the Lions have done.
The Lions aren't that good either.
Better than the Eagles.
Are they? What's their record?
I have no clue.
Okay.
It's a secondary though. But
Seattle-Minnesota game though. Seattle shuts down Minnesota. Shut them down.
Yeah. Their offensive coordinator got fired today.
Yeah. Shut them down so bad they had to fire their coach.
Man, get wrecked, stupid idiot Minnesota.
What do you think of this Seattle team?
I'm not partial to Seattle. Showing my bias a little bit. Their offense is par. Their offense is par.
Yeah.
Defense, there have been worse defenses. It's nowhere near Super Bowl Seattle defense.
No.
Not even close. It's the secondary in Super Bowl Seattle that made them so good.
Yeah.
But, you still have Bobby Wagner there, and he's wreaking havoc like he always has. He's a great player. I think, yes, last night was more of a Minnesota is not as good as they should be than it is a Seattle is better than we thought they were.
Okay.
But that being said, I do think that win will help them later.
I have a very different opinion about my thoughts.
Okay. Hit me with it.
They lead the league in rushing.
Seattle does?
They lead the league in rushing. That's not by just one running back, but as a unit, they lead the league in rushing. Obviously, they have Russell Wilson and Chris Carson. Like, they have multiple rushers. Maybe that's why. But they lead the league in rushing. Russell Wilson hasn't had a running game since Marshawn Lynch. Since prime Marshawn Lynch.
Okay.
They've been searching for a running game for like 4 or 5 years. They've gone through so many running backs.
Okay.
And the problem with the past years is Russell's been slinging it and also has been getting hit. Their offensive line's playing a lot better. That's why they're leading their league in rushing. Russell Wilson's not putting up the stats he was, but I think that's a good thing because he didn't put up those stats when they won the Super Bowls. He didn't put up the crazy stats he's put up the past like last year. He was an MVP candidate for a little bit. He was putting up crazy amount of yardage because he was just throwing it so much. They have a running game since the first time. Their defense is not the Legion of Boom, but when I see Seattle number 1 in running, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That surprised me. I didn't know that.
And defensively though, they're not terrible. It's not like they have a pretty difficult schedule. Yeah. And they're 6th in opponents' points per game in the league. Their offense is okay. They're 9th in the league in total scoring points per game. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But they have 5 losses, right? So no one's really talking about them. But here's their 5 losses. Give you perspective. Denver in the first game.
Okay.
Denver's,
Yeah.
Yeah. Chicago.
Great team.
LA Rams.
Great team.
LA Chargers.
Great team.
LA Rams. That's their
terrible team.
And the biggest margin of like the worst they've lost in those games was to the Chargers by 8 points. The rest of them have been 7 or less.
Well then, I tell you what, I'm really glad I put them in my playoff picture.
Yeah,
because you are changing my mind.
I like this team. I like their ability. The only thing I don't like is they've already guaranteed not going to have a home game in the playoffs. And we know how good they are at home, but they can play in the cold.
They can.
They have defense. They have a running game.
Defense travels.
2 things that travel: defense, running game.
Yeah.
They've played with the Rams both times. They've lost by 5 and 4, or 5 and 7, or something like that. They played with the Chargers. They lost by 8. They played with the Bears. But Bears, Rams, those are 2 teams they could see in the playoffs. The Rams have already beat them twice. It's hard to beat a team 3 times in one season, right?
Yeah.
I like the way they're running the ball. I like the way their defense is playing. If Doug Baldwin gets healthy, he didn't play last night, and Russell Wilson and him can start to get kind of their chemistry they had last year, I can see a team you do not want to play as a wild card team. I mean, you don't want to play. Well, you're definitely gonna not want to play the 5. They're gonna be the 5 seed wild card. That's a team you don't want to play as a divisional opponent. A hot team. It's when you get hot. If they continue to play through December, you don't want to play them. You don't want to play a team that can run the ball and defend with a quarterback that's top 10 quarterback in the league.
Do you know who they play next week?
I do not. But they do play in 2 weeks. They play somebody good. They play the. I do not know.
Yeah, Seattle, maybe They're better.
They play the Chiefs in 2 weeks.
They play the Chiefs in 2 weeks. Who do they play next week? 49ers. Hey, well, I tell you what. If they beat the 49ers, I'm convinced.
They play the Chiefs in 2 weeks.
That could be a big game. Also could
We'll see
be
what they're made of.
Yeah, well, maybe not. It depends on Kansas City if they've clinched their bye or not, which they probably will.
They probably won't.
You don't think they will? We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Well, how many losses the Saints? The Saints have 2 losses. Oh, sorry.
Chiefs
Wrong conference.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they beat the Chargers, they'll pretty much clinch it. Yeah. Wrong conference.
Okay, Carolina versus Cleveland. Are the Panthers that bad? Are they that bad?
They're bad, man. Baker's good. 5 losses in a row. They were 6-2. Yeah. They were 6. It was kind of beautiful because I'm sorry to Carolina fans, but I view Panthers fans as either you could talk to somebody and say, if the Panthers right now, I could go up to somebody and be like, hey, you a Panthers fan? You watch the NFL? Nah, man. I like college sports. I don't really watch the NFL.
Yeah.
5 weeks ago when they were 6-2, that dude was probably wearing a Luke Kuechly jersey.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works. Just because that's North Carolina, they're more college sports than professional sports, and Panthers are a new team, and people aren't as dedicated to them unless they're good. But when they're 6-2 and they beat the Eagles, I heard a lot from the Panthers fans, and I said, y'all got lucky as shit. Just keep watching. Next week, my Steelers beat the shit out of them, and since then they haven't recovered. They've lost 5 games in a row, and guess what their schedule is the rest of the season?
Really hard.
Saints, somebody else, Saints.
So I think they're going to finish out the season 3-0, make the playoffs. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They aren't winning another game. They should bomb it.
Yeah.
Just go for a high draft pick. I mean,
my question is their offense really sustainable the way they play? Yeah. Cam, dump it off to McCaffrey, hand it off to McCaffrey. Cam, throw it a little downfield to McCaffrey. It's Cam and McCaffrey, and maybe a little bit of Funches. And
they need to get another tight end.
Yeah, Greg Olsen is too injury prone.
I mean, if Greg Olsen was 4 years younger, 3 years younger, this team is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk about this every single week. Anytime Carolina is on the 5 or closer, they should score every single time.
Yeah.
Because you have Cam Newton, Christian McCaffrey, and Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
Take the wide receivers off the field. You don't need them.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if I ever see them throw a slant or a fade to DJ Moore or Devin Funches, I'm like, are you out of your mind? I'd rather you put in CJ Anderson, who doesn't play for them anymore, and run him up the middle than put it in the hands of those snakes.
Yeah.
They can't catch. It's a Panthers curse. And Devin Funches and DJ Moore, to their credit, DJ Moore's a good player. He's going to be Steve Smith Jr. I really think that.
Yeah.
And Devin Funches is having the best season of his career. But when you have Greg Olsen, a generational tight end, you have Christian McCaffrey, the second best young running back, or second best running back in his class behind Saquon.
Yeah.
And then you have Cam Newton, who is a god in the red zone as far as using his mobility. There's no reason to not score a touchdown. And when they don't score a touchdown, it is 100% on the coaching staff.
Yeah, and going to the coaching staff, another point is when in years past, when teams are really good at the beginning and then just below it the rest of the year, and they should, everyone thinks they're going to make the playoffs and then they completely collapse. A lot of times that ends in some kind of turnover in the coaching area.
Unless you're Andy Reid.
Unless you're Andy Reid. Because that's just a given. Yeah. But
dude, Andy Reid has done it this year.
Yeah. Yeah, he's sustained. We'll see what happens.
I told you he was going to. We talked about this early.
In the playoffs. We'll see what happens in the playoffs.
They're going to make a deep run. Sure. Maybe Super Bowl.
We'll make the Super Bowl. We will not make the Super Bowl.
Okay, let's talk about the week coming up. We got a huge Thursday night matchup between the Chargers and the Chiefs.
Huge. Biggest, close to the biggest game of the year. It literally decides who's number one in the AFC.
Yeah. I mean, I will personally be cheering for the Chargers.
I'll be cheering for the Chargers.
I like Kansas City. I like Patrick Mahomes. I have Travis Kelce on my fantasy team. But as a New England fan, it would help me a lot if the Chargers would win. Because that would, New England could possibly get that 1 seed.
I think the Chargers will get destroyed.
I don't. I mean, Phillip Rivers is playing some of the best football he's ever played. Melvin Gordon could be coming back. Their defense is playing outstanding.
Who did they struggle with last week?
They played
Somebody.
They did not struggle. They scored in the first 30 seconds of the game and coasted.
The only reason I say that is because I saw them play the Steelers and I was not impressed at all. And the Steelers blew the game, and a lot of other things happened in that game. We won't get in that game because it was bullshit. But I wasn't impressed with them. I thought the Steelers defense shut them down, and they got lucky. Our people ran into each other. They got a punt return. I thought we threw all over their defense. This is just one game.
Yeah. I mean, they have 10 wins.
Yes.
They have 10 wins. You don't get 10 wins
struggled
and
with
you're
the
not
Bengals.
legit.
Struggled with the Bengals. Struggled.
At home.
Won by 5.
At home.
At
Right.
where?
In LA.
In LA?
Wasn't it in LA?
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know. They don't have... Eckler got carted off. Melvin Gordon wasn't playing. I mean, Melvin Gordon is a fringe top 5 running back. Once they get him back, they're going to be complete again. And the Chiefs just lost their top 5 running back. And I don't know. I'm not convinced that the Chargers are going to win. If I had to pick right now, I'd say the Chargers are going to win. But
you think the Chargers are going to beat the Chiefs?
I do. And we'll talk about it later. But
if they play, if Melvin comes back and if their defense plays better than they did against the Steelers, then maybe. But this is solely based off of one game, so it's really not.
We should. I'm gonna add a segment in right now. We should go ahead. We should make our picks for next week.
Okay.
And we'll talk about each one. But here, I'll pull up next week's schedule really quick. If I could.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you can make it load.
So first game of the week is this Chiefs Chargers game.
Okay.
Which is
Thursday
night, and I'm Chiefs. You're Chargers.
Okay. Let's see what do we got up next?
Houston Jets. Houston.
Yeah, that's not even a question. Houston is honestly really good. I think they have potential to make an AFC run. And the Jets are just so bad. They're so bad.
Terrible.
They're bad.
Terrible team.
Opposite of good.
He's been playing really opposite of good. Cleveland Denver is actually an interesting game.
I'm going Cleveland there. I think they're a good team. They've turned it around. I see them being a playoff team in the near future. Not this season, obviously, but next year, 2 years from now.
I think you're right. I think Denver wins this game.
You think Denver?
I think it's it's home at Denver.
I hope Philip Lindsay has 4 touchdowns.
Bottom of the league, Cardinals, Atlanta, 3-10 versus 4-9.
Ooh, I'm gonna go Cardinals because Atlanta is bombing.
I'm gonna go Atlanta because Cardinals are bad.
We got some riveting conversation here.
Okay. Detroit and Buffalo.
Where at?
It is New Era, Bills.
That's
Stadium.
Bills. Yeah.
So.
I know I've been on Stafford. I've been on his dick, but I'm going Buffalo and Buffalo.
I'm going Detroit.
All right, we're one of us is gonna start this season off really well.
Yeah. No, I Buffalo's just not good. Neither is Detroit, but I trust Stafford. Because of all these things you've been saying, that's why I picked.
It could snow.
You've been
it
so
could
convincing.
snow though.
It could snow.
And Josh Allen is gonna run it all over their stupid idiot heads.
All right, Green Bay, Chicago.
Oh man, because of my playoff picture, here's what I'm saying is gonna happen. I think Green Bay is gonna sneak one out.
Wow, I could see that.
I think they're gonna sneak one
I
out.
could see that.
Aaron Rodgers has been unleashed.
Yeah.
And I think that there might be a little bit of a hangover from the Rams win.
Let me check my playoff picture before I make this pick.
I think Green Bay wins.
Because of my playoff pictures, I had to go with the Bears.
All right, so
but I could see an upset there. But my official pick is Chicago.
Okay.
Oakland, Cincinnati.
Oh man, who gives a shit?
Let's just not even pick that game. I'll go Cincinnati though.
All right. I'm gonna go Oakland for shits and giggles.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like it freaking matters.
Dallas Colts, actually a good game.
Yeah, very good game. I'm gonna go Dallas there.
Go Colts.
God, we have agreed on one game.
What game?
Houston's gonna beat the Jets.
Oh yeah.
So that's decided.
Write that one down.
Okay.
Tennessee Giants.
This is a game that I really want to talk about.
Okay.
Because
two teams that have been playing a lot.
They are. One of these teams is going to make the playoffs, and the team that's going to make the playoffs is Tennessee. I probably didn't call it, but
it's not in your playoff picture.
It's not my playoff picture, but I would not be surprised if
they have an easy enough schedule.
Yeah.
I think Tennessee wins this.
I think Tennessee wins also.
One thing about Tennessee is, okay, so the Giants, it makes sense to me why they have 5 wins. They have really good skill positions and really bad offensive and defensive line.
Odell didn't even play and they won.
Yeah, they have JPP.
JPP plays for
he's not on JPP. So yeah, they literally have nobody on their D line. They're 29th, third to last in sacks. They have no pass rush and no one can protect, and they don't have a quarterback. They have good skill positions in the secondary. They have
Saquon keeps running 80-yard touchdowns.
They have
I'll bet
Saquon. They have Odell. They have Shepard and Shepard. They have 2 Shepards. They have Ingram. Like, they have good skill positions, but it makes sense to me that a team with no line has a losing record.
Yeah.
But Tennessee doesn't make sense to me because they lose 3 to start out. They win 1, win 3. They're 3-1. Then they lost 3 in a row. Then they beat New England.
Yeah.
And Dallas. They beat Dallas and then beat the shit out of New England. And then lost 2 more to some subpar teams, and then they won their last 2.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Mariota Magic.
All up and down.
They're not a bad team though.
No.
If Derrick Henry gets 4 touchdowns a game, once again, I'll bet on Tennessee. I would like to say that shout out to Saquon for trying to save me in fantasy in one of my leagues. I lost by 1 point in the playoffs this week. That hurt so bad. It was their league, not the one that we were in together.
Yeah.
I was playing and I was down 6 heading into the Sunday night game. He was done. I had Brandon Cooks. He got 5 because stupid Jared Goff threw 4 interceptions.
-1 points.
I was so upset. I was so upset Sunday night. Granted, I won in my other league handily, and the guy that I played in that league had Derrick Henry, and he benched him Wednesday night, and that makes me very happy. Because if I had lost, because I was the number 1 seed, or no, I'm technically the number 3 seed, but I'm the best team in the league that we're in. I've outscored everyone by 100. I've just had some unlucky breaks in the regular season.
Yeah.
I'm the theoretical 1 seed. Others will disagree, but my conscience says Adam, you're the best.
Yeah.
And
what a conscience you got.
If I would have lost by 1 in one league and then Derrick Henry's 4 touchdowns screwed me in the other league when I was the 1 seed and the sort of 1 seed in the other league, I would have just lost it. I would have been so upset. Okay, next game.
Miami, Minnesota.
Miami. Go ahead.
I'll trust you. I'll go Miami. They're still not making the playoffs, though. If they do, they lose in the first round. Tennessee. Oh, we just did Tennessee Giants. Sorry. Washington, Jacksonville.
God. Can I pick tie? Tie 0-0.
I think the Jags.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Jacksonville also.
Tampa Bay, Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yes, Baltimore. Seattle, San Fran.
Seattle.
New Orleans, Panthers. I'm going Saints.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. So, hold on. I'm just trying to finish writing this down. I can do that later. Yeah, we agreed on a lot of the last ones, but there were some.
Yeah, the beginning.
Yeah,
our records will be very different this week.
Most likely. Okay. So as we're winding down the episode, how about we compare our playoff pictures here?
Okay. You want to start NFC or AFC?
Let's go AFC.
Okay. Chiefs won because they beat Pat Mahomes. They beat the Chargers.
Yeah.
And so 2 Texans.
Wow.
Because Jets, Eagles, Jags. That's their last 3 games.
What about New England? You think they're not going to win? They're not going to lose this week. I don't even care who they play. They play Pittsburgh.
Oh, we didn't even predict that game. Sorry, we missed the Eagles and Steelers game on our predictions.
Yeah,
because they're at my favorite list.
It's definitely New England.
Pittsburgh.
Okay. And who does
Eagles, Rams.
Rams. Okay.
Yeah, I think that the Patriots, because I think the Steelers are going to beat the Patriots. I think that the
Steelers are definitely not going to be the Patriots, man. They don't lose back-to-back weeks. They just don't. Especially, they don't lose the way they lost and then go lose to the Steelers.
Okay.
Because they just don't lose the Steelers, first of all.
I know. I'm just trying to be hopeful.
I'm sorry for you, man.
3 Pats.
Mm-hmm.
4 Steelers, barely. So okay. So this list is a little bit of logic and mostly bias.
Okay.
Because of the Texans and the Patriots. Because I have to assume the Steelers win 2-1. To do that, they go 2-1 the rest of the way. To do that, they have to beat either the Patriots or the Saints. I don't think they beat the Saints in New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
If I was not a Steelers fan, I was anybody else, and I looked at this, I would say, okay, Steelers are 7-5-1. They're leading their division by half a game over Baltimore.
Yep.
Baltimore plays some bad team, the
Tampa
Chargers.
Tampa Bay Chargers, the Browns.
Tampa Bay Chargers, the Browns. So that's 2-1 for the Ravens. If you look at the Steelers, it's Patriots, Saints, and Bengals. That's 1 and 2. If you're looking at it, you think, oh, they lose both those games. That's 1 and 2. Not only should the Steelers not win the division, logically the Steelers shouldn't make the playoffs. Because if I was looking at this logically, you have all these teams that are 7-6. All those teams have to do is go 2-1. We go 1 and 2. One of those 5 teams that are 7-6. Ravens have to go 2-1, and then one other has to go 2-1.
Yeah.
And we'll have both 7 losses, but they'll have one more win because of our tie. We don't make the playoffs. But because I'm a Steelers fan, they go 2-1 somehow, and they win the division.
Okay.
The Chargers 5 and the Ravens at 6.
Okay, my AFC is Kansas City 1, New England 2, Houston 3, Baltimore 4, which you could have guessed. You did guess. Chargers 5, and then the Dolphins coming in at 6. They will probably lose to Houston, but I have a feeling. Black Eyed Peas got a feeling.
Yeah.
I think Miami's going to make the playoffs, and I don't think Pittsburgh is going to. Unfortunately. I like the Steelers.
So if the Steelers don't make the playoffs, then something's got to change in coaching or front office, in my opinion.
Yep. Probably so. But is it Mike Tomlin? Can't be Mike Tomlin.
That's what everyone keeps saying. I don't think it's Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin's a good coach, man.
But what's your precedent for why Mike Tomlin's a good coach?
Unless he's gone to 2 Super Bowls.
He's gone to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, won 1.
Yeah.
Gone to 2.
Lost 1.
Yeah.
But he did both of those 2 years, 2 years apart, and 1 year removed. The first one that he won, 1 year removed from Cower, who basically gave him the Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
The other one he went to, that was good. He made it himself. My problem with Tomlin, not really Tomlin, but the Steelers organization as a whole, the past 5 years, we've had one of the most talented teams in the NFL, and we haven't made it past the AFC Championship.
Yep.
And if that's anybody else, that coach is probably gone.
That's not true, man.
Andy Reid did the same thing. NFC Championship, couldn't make the Super Bowl, and fired.
Well, what about Marvin Lewis? He was mediocre for 10 years.
Yeah, he should not be coaching right now.
I mean, Mike McCarthy just got canned, but that was long overdue. If I just can't see them firing.
I don't think they should. I don't think they will. I'm just saying, every year it's somebody else. It's not Mike Tomlin. It's Le'Veon was hurt this year. It's we just don't have the right people on our defense. It's Todd Haley is bad. Let's fire him and bring someone else in. It never falls on Mike Tomlin, and it's getting to the point where like, hey, we've gotten rid of a lot of these variables, and now this year, you know what's going to be? It's going to be we didn't have Le'Veon.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you had James Conner, who's playing well.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Tomlin.
Maybe
he should be on the hot seat if they don't make the playoffs. But I think it's heavy-handed.
I'm not at all. I don't want him to be fired as a Steelers fan. I'm just saying. Can he get a little bit more responsibility for our?
You think he should be on the hot seat to say the least?
Yeah, at least like a little pressure so he changes something up because he's done the same thing the past 5 years and it's not working.
Yeah.
And what Colbert, our GM, is who I really want gone because we've had a long time to get our defense better and we haven't. And we drafted a wide receiver in the second round last year. James Washington, what a waste of a pick. But okay. Moving on to NFC playoff picture.
I got the Saints and the Rams coming at 1 and 2.
Saints 1, Rams 2.
Mm-hmm. Chicago holding 3 down, and Dallas is going to win the NFC East. Got Seattle coming in at the 5, first wild card, and I think Green Bay is going to sneak in. I think Green Bay sneaks in.
I didn't even think about Green Bay.
I mean, they don't have an extremely hard schedule for the rest of the way. And, really, wild card picture, it's Minnesota, Green Bay, and Carolina vying for it. And Green Bay might be I guess the Eagles, but I think Green Bay is the best, especially if you look at last week as a sample size. I mean, Carolina is not getting any better. Minnesota just fired their OC this deep in the season.
Eagles are bad.
Yeah, if Green Bay and the Eagles had to play for it, yikes. Aaron Rodgers throwing for 500.
NFC Rams 1.
You think the Saints are going to lose?
Yes.
Who are they going to lose to?
One of those 3 teams. One of those 2 teams. Panthers twice, Steelers once.
No, that's right. You have them. They have to lose to the Steelers, right?
Not necessarily. They don't have to, but I think they lose because past 2 weeks, Saints looked bad. Last week they looked bad against the Cowboys. They looked bad.
They're tied with the Rams, right, record-wise.
Yeah.
But they have the tiebreaker on them head-to-head.
Yes. So I think the Rams 100% don't lose. So this is why Eagles, Cardinals, San Fran versus Panthers twice and Steelers. Those teams are at least have been in the playoff picture. The Eagles, Cardinals, San Fran, dub.
Probably.
Saints.
I think the Saints went out too. I need the Saints to win out so Todd Gurley keeps playing.
Anyways, that doesn't really matter that much. Yeah. I think it's important though for the Saints to have the 1 seed.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as important for the Rams though.
I agree.
Bears 3, Cowgirls 4. I literally typed Cowgirls. I hate the Cowboys. Sorry, don't like them. Seahawks 5, and then I put 6. I said Vikings, I guess. Because I was just like, I didn't.
6 is up for grabs.
I didn't look at. I honestly didn't look as far down to teams with 5 wins like the Packers.
Yeah.
But I looked at the 6 wins. I was like Panthers. I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
I played the Saints twice. I was like, Redskins are done.
They're washed.
Eagles play Rams and Texans.
Yeah.
So even like they would have to have a really shitty schedule to even win out. So I kind of like your Packers pick. But who they play? Bears.
Yeah, they do play the Bears once. They'd have to win that one.
Yeah.
And they play the Bears this week. Let's see. Nothing is loading for me, but
and did you make a Super Bowl attending pick?
I did, and it's pretty lame. Oh, they play the Bears, the Jets, and the Lions. So if they can pull off this week, they can win out.
Yeah.
and made the playoffs.
Probably one of the first teams to fire a head coach and make the playoffs.
Probably.
Yeah.
Go Packers.
Yeah.
Go Aaron Rodgers.
I'm rooting for it.
If they're that hot going in, don't count them out.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to go to Midway to play the Bears. And if they make it, they're going to have to go back to Midway to play the Bears.
Yeah. But we're focused on making it right now.
Yeah.
What they do in the playoffs, we'll see.
If they make it, they'll probably do all right.
Yeah.
I bet they win a game.
I could see it.
It's when you get hot. And it's Aaron Rodgers, man. Big Rodgers guy over here.
All right, AFC. Who's in for Super Bowl?
New England.
Same.
And Rams.
Very different NFC. I didn't want to be basic.
I know. It was a basic pick.
Yeah, I looked at the NFC. I said, Rams just got exposed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears game.
Uh-huh.
So I was just trying to find weaknesses in these teams. Rams, Jared Goff throws 4 picks. They play a decent defense.
The best defense in the league.
Right, great defense. But essentially, you know, they can be stopped offensively.
Yep.
And we know their struggles on defense.
Yep.
Saints been exposed. No one's talking about last week, but they played Tampa Bay and struggled.
Yeah, they
Drew
did.
Brees struggled
They
again. And then Dallas, if they don't get the number 1 seed, they could get bounced, you know, in like the NFC Championship. But at the same time, they could lose before that if they don't get their shit together. They have weaknesses. Bears obviously have weaknesses.
Yeah.
Mitch is, I love him, but you know he's not
Yeah.
he's not a Drew Brees, these other quarterbacks, a Jared Goff this year either.
Yeah.
I think the Cowgirls are super overrated. I think Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott. I think they'll lose to whoever they play in the first round.
And
that's going to be the Seahawks that they play in the first round.
And
I think the Seahawks are going to the Super Bowl.
Oh man! Oh my gosh!
Seahawks to the bowl. No, they're not just going for a rematch with the Patriots. They're beating the Patriots.
Oh my god! Hot take alert!
Yeah.
I wish I had a siren effect because, jeez, I thought Green Bay in the playoffs was a stretch.
Okay, well here's the.
I mean, they can beat Dallas. Sure.
Yeah, they play Dallas first round, right? Then they play either the Rams or the Saints. If they play the Rams,
Can't beat them 3 times, right?
can't beat them 3 times, and they've been close both times they've played them.
Seattle winning the Super Bowl. If it was New England, Seattle again, that would be awesome. First of all,
I don't even like Seattle that much. I don't know if I'd like that Super Bowl because I kind of hate. Well, I definitely hate the Patriots, or not a hate, but I don't root for them ever. And then Seattle, I grew to hate when they were good with the Legion of Boom. I mean, they're not like that anymore, but I wouldn't be that excited if that was the Super Bowl.
yeah.
But that's my big prediction.
Wow.
I think the Seahawks, that they're going to go in hot. They're going to beat the Cowgirls. They're going to match up with the Rams or the Saints next. And if they win that game, then, I mean, in my mind, they'll probably play the Saints at 2 seed because I think they're a 2 seed in New Orleans. That's a really, really hard game to win. But if they can win that, then they go to L.A. that they've played twice already. And L.A.'s not a home field advantage at all.
Yeah.
And then,
Sure. Is it
everything's
possible?
up in the air.
If you make that's why you make the playoffs right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Bold prediction to end the topics.
Go Hawks, baby.
Man. Yikes. Okay. Hey, that's your prediction. Go for it.
We got Rams, Patriots.
Rams, Patriots. I went a very, very simple route.
Yeah.
And maybe you kind of got me ashamed of myself. Like maybe I should be thinking more outside the box.
Hey, I chose the road less traveled by.
Yeah. I went the old 2v2. My seeding 2v2 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Which I thought was upsets. But hey,
you got Green Bay in the playoffs, so
that's true.
That's very possible.
Yeah.
Seahawks is possible.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Well, I think I think that's gonna do it for our first talk.
Yeah, good
yeah,
good little
definitely.
topic to end on it, and
Yeah.
we'll review our picks for the regular season games.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah, maybe reassess our playoff pictures because if the Packers lose.
Yeah, and if the Steelers lose, and then they gotta beat the Saints next week.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, guys, I really appreciate you guys listening to me and Riley. We are gonna try to put stuff out. At least I'll try to put some stuff out every week. Riley would definitely be joining me a lot of the time.
Yeah.
The premise of this isn't just to talk about sports. I know today was 100% sports focused.
Yeah.
Other days we will have topics outside of sports. And other days
that's the stuff.
Yeah, that's the stuff. Yeah. That's the stuff in sports and stuff.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you taking the time to listen, and I'll see you next time.